I had to try defying gravity. How'd it go?
Something like that. Yeah. Something about gravity.
Yeah,
and it won't let me down.
Without defying gravity.
And you won't let me down. I don't know the words, man.
Don't be a narc, we'll light up your spark. It's time for nerd shit in the dark.
Let's rock.
So I had a few belches.
What's that you're drinking there?
What am I drinking?
Yeah, I was curious about that.
So
It's just a giant can.
Yeah.
Is that sparkling water?
No, it's alcohol.
Oh, nice.
It's one of the beers actually from the tasting that we went to.
Oh.
Over Halloween.
How is it?
It's the one. I don't know if you guys were still there when we hit the one that tastes like peanut butter and jelly. Sam's. Oh
yeah,
wow,
that was the food poisoning one.
the food poisoning one. I think something else food poisoned you. Because Jared,
Considering you're not food poisoned
considering
right now,
Jared, Ernie, and I drank a lot of this that time.
probably wasn't that. Probably something else.
Yeah.
We still have to be determined what it was.
There was a lot of things that it could have, definitely have been that weekend. So Ernie went the next weekend and picked me and Jared up a case of a 4-pack. That's actually my last of them.
Nice.
But I love it. It's pretty fucking good. I was saving it for a special occasion. I thought this podcast.
What better
recording
special
would be,
occasion than
Sorbetto.
first podcast in the new crib?
In the new crib? Yeah, I like this.
My new lair.
You've kind of given me sort of a.
I have phone internet. I don't have computer internet yet.
Oh wow. Oh yeah.
Yeah. With my laptop.
Right.
That's the whole situation of
Yeah.
like, we could do remote recordings from here if that connected to Wi-Fi.
Yes. Yeah. You know what, shitters? Before we really dive in, let Braden tell you what's going on with him because, you've noticed he's missed a few shows.
That's right. I've been on hiatus, I guess. Unannounced hiatus.
Here and there.
Like
We
the
make
bad
it work.
boys do. Yeah. But anyways, I moved into a new apartment with Kaylee, and we, for a while, had Wi-Fi issues, but we finally got that resolved. But unrelated to that, my laptop has not been connecting to Wi-Fi for very long. Like, it lasts for about 5 minutes.
Mhm.
It's like my personal laptop that like I do most of my shit on. And yeah, the internet just doesn't work anymore. Like, it connects to Wi-Fi for 5 minutes and shuts down. So I'm waiting on getting a new laptop probably around Christmas time. But in the meantime, I've been working a new job and living in a new place and have missed a few times because now we live a bit further apart, but not too much further apart.
We are prepared for when you do get your new computer to be fine. Then everything will be working
close to remote capabilities if the only missing thing is Wi-Fi for my laptop. For a computer that we can stream it on or talk over. Because we thought about doing it over the phone, but that's comes with its own complications and
sort of kind of, yeah.
doesn't sound as good. And
No. I've been making it work with some of the other guests that I've had them online, and nothing beats two
but we're working it out.
mics together. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the shitters thought that maybe we were like fighting behind the scenes?
Maybe.
Yeah. We're having creative differences. And
2 episodes in a row? No,
yeah,
Braden. What's up with that?
Braden split off and started his own show.
Well, it's funny because there was an episode, maybe even 2 episodes, where I addressed, like, Braden's not here. He's got stuff going on, yada, yada. Yeah. But there was one where I was just like, I am your host, Chase the Chaz Creepek, and joining me today. That could sound a little... That would make people start going, oh, that time he didn't even bring him up. What's up with that?
He just forgot about him that time.
Yeah. No, we're not.
No,
we're not fighting.
No, not at all.
Not even a little.
I just had a life transition.
And there's nothing we can do, so I'm just... we're working around it, but we're here tonight to talk about a couple of really cool things.
Yep, we've been waiting for another big event to talk about, and we finally got it this weekend. With the opening of 2 big blockbuster movies, but we saw one of them tonight.
And we will, I'm gonna try to see the other one still at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw Wicked.
We saw Wicked tonight.
We saw Wicked tonight, and that's probably what we'll be wrapping tonight's show up on, is us talking about that movie, because boy, did it hit me in all the right places.
I'm excited to talk about
I'm
it.
excited to talk about it.
I was
as
pretty
well.
neutral going into it, but it left me wanting to talk about it.
Oh yeah, I would say the same thing. Like I grew more excited for it as the days had gotten closer. I think ultimately, just for the person I am, Gladiator 2 is the one I kind of wanted to see more.
Yeah.
Those are more typically movies that are for me. But I do think we picked the better movie. Not even seeing the other one. I think that this was like,
we have not seen Gladiator 2. Neither of us.
This gave me like we will get to it more, but this gave me like a Spider-Verse feeling. Like we walked into it, we had certain expectations.
It's the Spider-Verse
And
of
Pixar.
musical theater.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Know that we liked it up ahead, but we will get to that. And before we go any further, I think we got to do this just right. But we hadn't said it yet, but we're going to say it now. Welcome shitters. To Nerd Shit in the Dark, the shittiest podcast on the internet.
Universe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Big guy comes back after a hiatus and brings in the whole universe with him.
Up in the ante.
And I was happy with just Pakistan. We are your host, Chase the Chaz Skripek.
And Braden the Brad Neil Stir.
And we're going to take you on a little ride through just some fantastical worlds tonight.
Yep. All fantasy based.
All fantasy based.
But wonderful rides.
Yeah.
Very upbeat.
Yeah. Do you have any new nerd shit other than?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Why don't you throw in one of yours?
Semi-new nerd shit.
And then we'll just hit the other topics, because like my new nerd shit's kind of arcane. So.
Well, my new nerd shit was one of Sam's new nerd shits.
Ooh.
I started playing Grounded.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I'll give my thoughts on it, because it is like a survival crafting game, which I like those. I've been replaying I replayed Subnautica, and I wanted to play another survival crafting game that I hadn't played before, because I was feeling bored and burnt out on everything else, and it took me a while to get into it, but I've kind of started to pick up the niche of why people enjoy it. Like, it has really good reviews on Steam, and I know Sam really enjoyed it, and I trust Sam's recommendation on games.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to get around to it, but I kind of just, how trying to get into new games can sometimes be.
It'd be a little scary, yeah.
Yeah.
I have the problem where I try to get into too many at once.
Right. But yeah, once you're into them, and I think I've finally gotten into them.
That's good. How many hours have you put into it?
Not many. Probably 4 or 5.
Okay.
Maybe not even that.
Your foot's in the backyard.
Yeah. I've walked around a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tried climbing some trees. Died a few times.
Oh, wow.
But, I still get fucked up by most things.
Just big
but I'm getting there.
bugs.
Yeah.
I
I've been getting into the house building system. I do enjoy. I mean, it is a very fun environment to run around in, because you're just small and exploring this cool reimagining of this familiar space.
It's like Pal World in the backyard.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
It's cool trying to comprehend your size and the size of everything in your environment, because you're small, or as small as an ant, pretty much, or even smaller. Ants are as big as you, pretty much.
Okay.
So we're talking that small.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in an abandoned backyard. There's a whole storyline to it where you have to go. It's not terribly difficult to get into, but it just took me a while to there's a little drag at the beginning of survival games where you're just dying.
Right, you don't have a lot of stuff.
You don't have experience. You don't know what you're supposed to be looking for.
Yeah,
and stuff.
they all kind of start a little
yeah.
Once we get there, we'll get there. But right now, it's not that fun.
You start unlocking shit, and you start finding familiar environments, and base building and stuff. Base building in this is pretty fun. You can build houses out of grass and shit. The survival aspect of it is pretty easy in terms of food and water. There's some games that are pretty unforgiving on that aspect, but this one, it's barely an inconvenience. Okay. It's more so avoiding bugs that can kill you.
Eat when you can.
Yeah.
If you make it last too long, then you're gonna suffer. But
right.
I like that. I can appreciate that. 2 Life beats why I'm playing a video game.
Yeah, when you become devoted too much time to that, it becomes a whole different game of just trying to manage that. But it's not too difficult to manage. And the combat is pretty fun. once you get into it.
Mm-hmm.
But you really do need to level up and like get better armor to stand a chance against certain bugs. Like I just got to the point where I can take down ants, like soldier ants, but they're still kind of tough. I haven't even fucked with like bees. Spiders are like the
Don't
worst.
fuck with the V's.
Yeah, spiders are like the bosses in the game, so they're like
They're
huge,
Yeah.
and they just hunt you. Like that's the whole thing. Is like there's just predators around that you have to watch out for. Like they're located on different parts of the map, but like you never know exactly where they're gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
So like you always have to watch out because like all of a sudden a wolf spider can show up, and they're like giants compared to you.
Right.
And so it's like fighting a titan.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Was it on sale or anything, or did you pay full price?
It was on sale. It was like there's like
How
15
much?
bucks taken off.
That's not bad.
Yeah, so I've been having a lot of fun with that. I'm still getting it. I'm still pretty early into the game. You have to like travel to different places, obviously unlock different parts of the map.
Other people's yards?
You're in the same yard pretty
One
much.
big yard.
You're in one big yard.
I like that.
Yeah.
The whole map is really just someone's yard. What
Yeah.
a perspective shift.
And there's like lore behind it. Like you're in someone's specific yard. You're like a missing child, basically. You play as teenagers or like preteens that get shrunk, like Honey That I Shrunk the Kid style,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like in someone's backyard. No one knows where you disappeared to, but that's like the survival aspect. Is that you're as big as an ant, so like
They're never going to find you.
they're never gonna find you, and like traveling the distance of the yard, especially with like all these other predators in the grass, is like a big journey.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
I got to look into this more. Just
Should-
because I know the company that makes it makes like a lot of really good games.
Yeah.
Because they did New Vegas.
I know this was I saw this game coming up before, and it looked interesting because it was in early access for a while.
Mhm.
But it does feel like a complete game.
That's
finally.
good.
And it has like
Well,
really
it's
good
released
reviews.
now, right?
Yeah, it's fully released, and it feels like a complete game. Like I don't have any complaints on that, which is sadly rare to say these days. But
Yeah?
it runs pretty well for me.
You're playing on your computer?
Yeah, that's the thing. It still plays games. It just can't connect to the internet.
Right on. Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was on Switch or anything, because I feel like a lot of those like survival games, I think for me personally, I could get more use out of on like my Switch, maybe my Steam Deck, just somewhere that I can be.
I
on
played
the
survival
go.
games on my Switch. I played that Amazon Rainforest game
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
on my Switch.
Yeah.
Green Hell,
Yeah.
and that was fine. It was fun.
I think when I do end up playing Bug Snacks, I'll probably play that on my Switch.
Yeah.
There's a sale going on right now on the Switch store. It's pretty.
That's where
There's
I've
sales
seen.
everywhere.
That's where I've seen Bug Snacks advertised before it was on the Switch.
Me too. Yeah. So that's on my to buy list for the coming holiday season if it gets pretty cheap. A lot of games are kind of on my list if they get pretty cheap.
Yeah, I've been trying to get into new ones because I've been kind of bored and burnt out with a lot of other things, but also at the point of like trying, like not knowing what I want to start,
Yeah. Yeah.
not knowing what I want,
I get that. I really do get that. Sometimes I think I know what I want, and I start playing a game, and I'm just like, no, this
Yeah.
isn't it.
Same.
And you feel bad almost buying another game because you didn't finish this one, but you're like,
Well, I try not to buy new games often now and replay old games that I already have.
that's smart.
And I'll get into whims where like I'll like re-download a game on Steam that I like think I want to play, and then I'll wait the whole time for it to download and play it, and then get burnt out on it in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'll just delete it again.
Tell you what, I started playing the new Call of Duty game. Did I talk to you? I think I might have talked to you a little bit about this.
I remember you saying
when we
about
saw
it. Yeah.
each other. It's pretty fun. I haven't played a Call
haven't
of
played
Duty
a Call of
Black
Duty
Ops
game.
game since Black Ops 2. So when I saw it was on Game Pass, I was like, yeah, I pay for that. I'll
I think the last like official Call of Duty game I played was I started Future Warfare and I never finished it, and I think that was the last one I ever played.
that was some time ago. I own the remake of Modern Warfare 2, but I never actually played it. I had to wait for it to download like forever on my PlayStation, and then by the time it did, I was like, I don't have time to play this.
I would replay Modern Warfare 2.
Those games are pretty fucking awesome.
Those were, I think, the peak of it to me personally.
I think they did something there that's why they're still here.
Yeah.
Because of those games. But this new one is this really isn't my topic, but like I'm really impressed by it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I like how they designed a lot of like the levels. It's not all just like, you know, you get dropped into a battlefield and you shoot people.
Right.
Next level, same thing somewhere else. There's like a home base, and you can like upgrade your base and modify your base and
Ooh, that's
pick
fun.
your missions. And yeah, there's like a hub mixed with some really cool cutscenes, and then you go do battles and shit. But like I was at like because it takes place in the 90s. I was at a Bill Clinton like rally thing, and just like I had your Black Ops, so I had to like use a camera to get somebody's like eye lens so that I could use to sneak into like a room there. Like
Right.
doing
Try and assassinate Bill Clinton.
doing that kind of shit was kind of cool. It was pretty cool. You're actually just trying to break somebody out of like a jail that's like in the area, but yeah, it's and like typically for me, I don't want to be taken away from just like the shooting and shit, but like I appreciate those little moments because then when you get to the shooting and shit, you're like, all right, let's fucking roll.
Yeah, you
And
get woven into the narrative.
It's a lot, dude. I'm telling you, I've preached this before. I'm gonna preach it one more time. I truly see a more of a generational jump between the PS4 and PS5 era, so that includes just everything this generation from the last one, because like where the PS4 generation was just like, yeah, better graphics, this is like, yeah, better graphics, and just games can just fucking pack in so much shit. It's insane. And
They get a lot more innovative.
oh my
with how
god, I've talked about it about Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, and it's just like, what a technological leap where like all the aliens you see that are coming at you can actually fight, and you're going to probably be fighting them. And it's just like the fact that these systems can run games this strong.
Scaled a lot bigger now.
And that's how Call of Duty feels. So it's like that same bombasticness that you felt. That's the thing, like when I first felt it when I played Modern Warfare back then, it's like I'm getting that same feeling again.
That's
now.
a good sign.
Right, with just like the newer capabilities.
It's a true sign of the next
Oh my
gen
god!
jump.
There's times where I'm just like, I can't believe there are still people for us to kill out here. Like, there's so many people sometimes, and I'm like, that's how it would be. Yeah. I haven't finished it. I've just been kind of going hit and miss with it whenever I get a chance. It's a real quick play, but I'm really happy with it. I only played the campaign. I haven't played any like the online shit. I don't really ever care to.
I got burned out on online game, like multiplayer games a long time ago. Competitive ones, at least.
Yeah, I was never really a big online Call of Duty player. I've only really ever loved just playing their stories.
Yeah.
Because I think they're pretty fucking good.
I was always sad when like games moved away from campaigns and storylines towards the multiplayer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't always play games for that anymore.
There are some games where like you buy and download mainly the multiplayer, and then there's like, oh, on the side, if you want, whenever you're ready, you can download the campaign. And it's like, no, the game is the campaign.
Right. That's what the games used to be.
That's what Halo Infinite is. When we downloaded it, we had to download the multiplayer to add the campaign to that. And it was just like, this is so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Kate and I finished that a couple weeks back.
How was that?
You know, man, it was fun. We had a really good time playing this game. It's a fucking mess. It's like Pokemon. It's a masterpiece, but it is janky as hell a lot of the time. Like, half the time we were playing, I started doing this bit where we were both Master Chief, but sometimes I'd load in and I wouldn't have any hands. Like, you just see my floating gun and my floating, like, thing. So I started calling myself Johnny No Hands, because Master Chief's name is John No Hands, Johnny No Hands. So
yeah,
it'd just be a funny bit. Like, sometimes we'd load in and I'd be like, oh, dude, guess who doesn't have any hands? Or something about my hands not being there.
Good way to distinguish.
It was, you're annoyed by this thing, but you're also like, we'll make it fun. Game is riddled. Dude, there were so many times where we had to, like, replay entire levels, but, like, all the enemies were, like, spawned out and dead. But the game was making us to, like, go through, like, things that just didn't make any fucking sense to be doing again.
Is it just unfinished or just a lot of glitches?
It's just, I think, a lot of glitches. It's like they finished it and they do a lot of updates for the multiplayer, but they didn't care to go back and do any updates for the campaign. Because it's still a really fun time, and I guess it wraps the storyline of the next trilogy of the Halo games up, sort of.
Does it play like a Halo game?
It's an open world Halo game. That's what makes it kind of fun.
Really?
Yeah, you play very open. There's no fall damage, so that's really fun. So you can like climb up on big things and jump up. Very nice.
That's what I liked about Titanfall.
Yeah, it has that sort of, because you get like, well, in Titanfall, I guess you have the boosters. In Halo, you get like this zip cord that you can shoot and like move around with, and It's pretty nice. It's pretty convenient. You pretty much Spider-Man with it. There were so many times where I was like falling off cliffs and like would save myself by jumping back up.
Spider-Man games still are some of my favorite movement
Fucking
games
good, yeah.
ever.
Yeah. A lot harder to do in first-person shooting type of moving around, but like you get the feel for it. No, I really liked it. We had a fun time. It was very challenging. We played through it on Legendary, so it did give us trouble time to time. The bosses were bullshit a lot of the time, but yeah, just a mess. Just a beautiful, beautiful disaster, I'd say. Like, for a big company that, like, 343 that's been making Halo games for as long as they have, they could have, patched a lot of that shit up. I should have hands.
You
I should
still
load
bought
it
it.
with hands. And I did. And I bought it very on sale. Luckily, it was on sale on Steam for a lot. But, yeah, I did buy it.
Is there any, like, negative reviews out on it? Or?
I think it released very, like, mid. Like, 7s, 8 7s. Yeah. Big fans, not big fans. Like, I can see past me being more angry at this game.
Right.
But
at this point, you're just glad you're getting another Halo game.
Truly. And Kate and I, we get high. We play for 2 hours. It was just fun.
Yeah.
Was it janky at times? Sure. But I used to be way more committed to Halo. I'm glad I played this one now because the story was kind of a mess. And I would have been more sad about it at a different period in my life when I cared a little more about Halo's story. But because I really enjoyed Halo 5 and I thought that story was really good, and they kind of didn't do much with that.
I stopped playing. The last Halo game I played was Reach.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
They started a whole new story in 4, and it
I never played 4 on.
It feels like I don't know what to compare it to. It feels story-wise, it feels like the Zack Snyder Justice League, without Zack Snyder's Justice League, like the trilogy of movies as they came out, like fucking Joss Whedon's Super or Justice League.
Yeah,
that's how they feel. It's kind of disjointed. There's like a connection, but it's just a mess,
Yeah.
And I'd like to see the Zack Snyder cut of Halo Infinite, but I also don't because
he would certainly take a crack at it.
I just want another Halo game that's better in story. Our plan is we're now going to go back and play older Halo games just for shits and giggles because we have.
What you going to start with?
I think we're going to do Halo 2 next is our plan.
I never played Halo 2.
Halo 2 is amazing.
First Halo game I played was Halo 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I came in late, but I didn't feel like playing the first few games.
Halo 2 is a fucking great game,
I just remember seeing all the hype about Halo 3, and I was like, well, that's a good game I could buy. And
Do you know why Halo 3 had all that hype?
Halo 2 is really good.
Because Halo fucking 2, man. Dude. What a game. What a game. Dude, it turned 20 this year, and I was just like, I really felt that. I was like, fuck. Halo 2 is 20 years old. Jesus Christ.
At least we got a great Halo series.
You mean the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good it got canceled. They were like, we can't even air this anymore. It's so good. We've shown everything but Master Chief's dick. And we can't show Master Chief's dick. So we just got to cancel the show.
Not yet.
Yeah, I didn't watch season 2. I didn't finish season 1 of that show. But,
I never watched it.
Yeah, I don't... it was fine. It was fine. Once again, it's another thing, years ago if it would have came out when I cared more about, this... I still love Halo, but I don't care as much. I would have been more offended by it. But Miranda and I watched probably 6 episodes of it. We were fine with it. I didn't hate it.
You like the butt.
I love the butt.
Yeah.
The second I saw Master Chief's, I was I blushed.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I never knew that's all I needed was to see Master Chief's fucking naked goddamn ass.
That's true.
Or any other part of his body, his fucking face all the time.
That's what I was saying. I hear people loved seeing his face all the time and loved that his helmet was off most of the time.
It's just and the actors and the people working on that, I've heard them clap back at people commenting on that, and it's just I get it. You guys are going for your own thing, but there's something about Master Chief always having that helmet on that is so quintessential.
It's in his character.
It just makes me feel like if you don't care about that, you don't care about much.
It's like the symbol of, it's the face of the series, is the helmet.
Yeah. Not some random fucking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that turned me off quite a bit too. I was getting used to it, but I was just and they're always oh, it's, you can't read emotion with somebody that has a mask on all the time. And I'm like,
They did in Mandalorian.
well, not just that, but like, have you ever played Halo? I can read you know what I mean? Those
Yeah.
cutscenes are good graphics enough. It's the same. They're like, oh, in real life it's different. It's just like, no, it's
that's an
not. They
excuse.
use people like for models for these cutscenes. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
They didn't want to go through the effort.
I hate to be just another person bitching about the Halo in that nonsense, but it's one of those shows that you wish could be better. It's one of the it's in a world of game adaptation movies, TV shows, and shit that are good. When you see one like Halo get a dog shit one, like comparatively Halo to The Last of Us TV series,
Yeah.
it's fucking night and day. One is dog
Comparatively
shit.
to Arcane, the TV series that we'll also be talking about.
Yeah, it's a good segue.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could roll into that. I want to roll into that.
I would like to roll into that. I don't have much new nerd shit that I can think of right now.
No, that's
We started the Pride and Prejudice series with
Oh yeah,
Colin Firth.
yeah,
That's his name, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I like it better than the movie so far.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, I like Colin Firth's Mr. Darcy better
Okay,
than the other guys.
how new is that show? In the 90s?
Came out, yeah.
Okay.
So it's almost as old as me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how far are you into it?
Episode 4, I think.
Okay,
There's
so
8
you-
episodes.
I look forward to hearing more about this as you get farther into it.
Yeah.
I've never watched it.
It's on Hulu.
I don't have time.
Find it.
Okay, fine. I call you in like 2 weeks. I'm like, bro, can you believe
Did you believe what Mr. Darcy did?
this week? Yeah, we'll bleed into Arcane then.
Yeah.
I'm
We just wrapped up episode 7 of Arcane.
Brady. Yeah, season
Season
2,
two.
episode 7. So we're gonna talk kind of heavy spoilers for the first 7 episodes of season 2. I have seen all of it, so I'm gonna non-spoiler kind of give my thoughts on like the end. and
I have
shit.
not seen episode 8 or 9.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna go too into the details of those, but I think we have enough to talk about here just from this season. So
Oh,
like
certainly.
7 episodes.
We don't want to completely spoil it in case some of the shitters haven't seen it.
I know, but I'm warning them ahead that like we're probably gonna spoil some stuff.
Oh, yeah,
in the first
definitely.
7 episodes,
Heavy spoilers for the first 7.
and then lighter ones on the last 2.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think,
Loving it.
dude? Loving it.
Starting out strong
Mm-hmm.
immediately. Maintaining that.
Main-
I haven't really felt it drag at all.
No,
Not too much. There's a few scenes where it's like slower, just
but you're still invested in it.
Yeah.
It sucks you in. It has a very just like pulls you in.
it's
type
never
of
boring
atmosphere.
to look at.
Oh no, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's one of the most beautiful looking shows I've ever seen.
I could tell why it took so long for them to make it because it's very well crafted.
I'm gonna just say this, even as somebody who's seen it all the way through. I think this is a perfect television show. I think everything about it is as close to perfect as I have ever felt.
Yeah.
Consistently in episodes of television.
Well, that's why I'm as sad as I am that it's not going to go past 2 seasons. I am glad that it is finishing as like it'll always be good
Right.
in our memories. Like,
Right.
It didn't miss.
If it kept going and made like shittier episodes, you'd notice it and you'd remember it and you'd feel it. I don't have to feel that way about this show at all.
Right. It'll
Every
always be good.
episode is just good and it flies. 40 minutes just flies. Dude, animation wise, story wise, music wise, art wise, everything is firing on all cylinders.
Certainly.
I'm captivated.
I loved it. It was, pretty much anyone like could get into it.
I know. I've been thinking about like I wanted to like write a social media status about how I felt about just the
Yeah.
show because like I wanted to be like there are cartoons. There are good cartoons. There are exceptionally good cartoons. There's good television. There's great television.
It's almost hard to even lump it in as a cartoon.
That's
at this
what I
point.
want. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just good as television. No You don't even need to put the cartoon. It is a cartoon.
Yeah.
But it's better than most.
It's animated.
It's as good as some of the best live action television.
Yeah.
If not better.
It ascends those stories in certain ways. I mean, you could just do way more things with animation as a medium.
Yeah, and the fact that it does it in 18 episodes, fuck.
Yeah.
And you feel every one of those 18
I can
episodes.
tell this is going to tell a complete story, which I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be left with many like lingering questions in terms of what happens to certain characters.
There's some like what ifs I can say that I
Yeah.
think, but like it doesn't take.
This is it.
This
for
is it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but you get attached to all the characters. The voice acting's great. You can tell that they really gave it their all.
They really have so many scenes in last season too. There's nothing I can say about this season that's very different than what I can say about last season because they're both amazing.
Yeah.
But there's so many like scenes that I just feel like they're like they give a certain art group just like the reins and say, have a field day with this scene, design it however you want, even if it looks completely different than the animation we've done so far in the show.
They do a lot of creative twists with the animation.
Yeah.
And the art direction.
Yeah. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's every single one, and then they mix it with like a song that just fits the tone of everything perfectly.
It's never boring.
Never boring.
They're stimulating you with something.
You're emotionally on a roller coaster. Last night we put the finale on, and we'd been watching it all day. And Miranda, I turned the lights off, and Miranda was like, "You're gonna need to turn that light on, because I'm gonna fall asleep. I'll fall asleep with the lights off." And in my head, I knew right away. I didn't say it to her out loud. I did afterwards, but I was like, this bitch really thinks she's gonna fall asleep during any episode of this show, let alone the last episode.
Yeah.
I told every time we watch an episode, babe, you're like, oh boy, can I commit 40 minutes? And then we start watching it, and you're just fucking in it.
It manages
until
to
it's
top
over.
itself continually.
Top itself and just like keep you completely interested in what's going on at all times. I like the 3-act structure of this final season, how they each kind of tell their own little period of time.
Well, and I think that's the benefit of a self-contained story is that they can plan it out completely to where there's not like slow moments. They're not like making it up as they go, you know.
No.
They've had time to think about it.
Yeah, I'd say they had the whole series planned out from the beginning to end, from the day they started. It just took this long to animate and do all the other shit. But they had the story
make it good.
ready to go. Because season 1, I think one of the bigger flaws, if there are any of, like, I've seen a lot of people complaining about pacing in season 2, and I just think to myself, I think with other shows, there's each season tells its own like story. So you think like, oh, this is season 2, it should have its own self-contained kind of story.
Yeah,
but it doesn't. It continues. It's all one. Like, it's 2 seasons, but it's just all one.
There's a lot of different plot threads.
Yes.
Yeah. It's because there's a lot of different characters.
Yeah.
I mean, this is based off of a game where there's a bunch of champions. Like, this doesn't even scratch the surface. There's only a handful of actual game characters in this compared to, like, I look up the list of champions and there's, like, a fuck ton out there.
Oh,
there's a lot of them in the show, but, like,
not as
it's
many
a fraction of how many there actually are.
Goes to show what they'll play with later. And I'll be front in line. Because I think this series, it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, just like Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I feel like they're both very similar, yet so different in their own right.
Yeah.
Avatar and Arcane. But I like how both have kind of set the stage to, you could keep telling stories forever, right? Different avatars, you can tell whole different stories, different areas and different champions of the Arcane or the League of Legends world. Could be a whole nother series.
And they've proven that they have a team that is capable of producing very good television and writing very good stories.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a world that I think already has a lot of established lore that they can just continually adapt. I mean, I'm not familiar with anything League of Legends. This is the extent of my knowledge is this show. Yeah. So these are the characters that I know.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked up the list the other day because I was curious of just how many characters actually are like playable champions or whatever they do in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure how it's played, to be honest.
I've seen it played, but I've never physically played it myself.
And there were a few characters that I was surprised to see were like not show creations and were actual like champions in the game. Like Heimerdinger, the little furry guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's one.
Yeah, and I feel like all the main characters are all in the game.
Yeah, they are.
But there's a lot of side
They're
characters.
not, and it's not always clear who they are right away because sometimes their names change or they go through transformation. It shows how they all get transformed into their like in-game characters.
Oh, certainly. There's a lot of like in the final episode that I'm like certain characters look completely different by the end that you're just like, oh, I wonder if they made them like this is what they look like in the game.
Because you show like every character's progression in a way. Like even that guy who made Vander into the weird werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing spoilers for season 2.
Mm-hmm.
He's one.
Davis.
Like he's a champion.
Yeah.
Singed.
Yeah. The professor.
Yeah.
Or the whatever.
Which
doctor.
I didn't even think. I thought he was just like a random.
Yeah, I mean,
guy.
I wouldn't know. I would not know.
Silco isn't
Oh, really?
one. No. At least I didn't see.
Well, I guess neither is Vander, technically. You know what I mean?
Technically, that
As
I
Vander.
think that background to that character is a show invention.
Yeah.
That like,
It's cool, though.
yeah, because I don't know if like I don't know how deep League of Legends lore goes.
Mhm.
If like all these characters have detailed backgrounds, or if they're just like little blurbs that you can fill in the blanks with. But I wouldn't be surprised if they adopt that into like the main game lore. I mean, it makes for a compelling connection between characters.
Yeah.
Than
And
whatever they came up with.
It already worked on a really good fucking television show, so
Right.
they might as well slide
I
it
would
in.
buy it. Not that I'm super invested, because like this isn't gonna make me
No.
want to play League of Legends,
Nope.
especially with all the negativity I hear.
Like, I'm curious about it, but like I can love this show.
I've always
and
been
not touch
curious
that
about
game.
it, but it's a inherently multiplayer game, right?
Yeah.
Which like that's a whole
Online
community that you
multiplayer.
have to bust into, and
Yeah.
you know
They've
they
been
don't
playing
have
it forever.
they don't have the best reputation,
No.
and it's not something that I ever like had a huge urge to get into. Most online game like multiplayer games aren't, except for like Sea of Thieves and stuff, where like it's a
Yeah.
concept I can get behind.
Yeah.
The League of Legends is I don't even understand how it's played,
No.
and I've seen people play it, and I still didn't
It
get
just
it.
looks like a lot. I'm sure if you sat and played it, you could get it pretty quickly. At least
Yeah.
the gist of it. I don't want to.
No, it's the same
But I
with
love
me
this
with
show.
things like StarCraft or like
Yeah.
Warhammer and stuff. I'm like, I'm sure it's very fun to get into, but I don't feel like going through the learning curve.
No. Just learn the lore
Yeah.
elsewhere.
I'm still going through the learning curve of Crusader Kings, and I have
Oh,
over
wow.
300 hours in that game.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I still haven't won, like,
Damn.
won.
Damn.
I usually just get bored,
Yeah. I mean, that's how I am with Baldur's Gate at this point.
restart.
I haven't restarted, but like I'll play a little bit, put it down.
Yeah.
play a
Well, with
little
Crusader Kings, like, you can just restart new games really easily. It's just you go through a timeline and try and make your dynasty survive and become the most powerful to the end. But I always get to the point where I grow like a really huge empire, and then like my player character dies, and his son takes over, and he sucks, and then everyone rebels against me, and the empire falls.
Oh God.
Then you have to start all over again, but this time it's like 1076, and everyone has castle walls, so you can't invade them as easily.
Sounds like a problem.
Yeah.
What do you think of those scenes where they'd have flashbacks of Vi and Powder as like kids? And did you cry at all during the last couple episodes? Did you at least tear up?
No, I haven't cried at a show or movie in a long time because I think
Right.
I'm just emotionless. But it was interesting to me.
Every episode from like part 2 and onward has hit me in some sort of way where I about cried. And Miranda did. Miranda has cried multiple
I
times.
don't cry, but I go, "Oh, that's good."
Yeah.
Yeah,
You feel it.
I can appreciate that that's a good
yeah,
moment,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make me cry.
I really
like a little
loved
bitch.
like the flashback of Vi's mom, Vi and Powder's like mom with Vander and the other dude when they were younger.
Yeah,
Can't remember
the
his
fat
name.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah. No, not in the episode we watched today. Last week's episodes where
Silco. Yeah,
yeah, Silco
Yeah.
is young with the. I really love that scene, and she's talking about the
That's
baby,
a good scene.
and it's showing like Vander kind of training them. And then there's another scene in the next episode where Victor's getting into Vander's like head, and he sees like this really nice animated vision of like Vander teaching Vi how to punch and stuff.
Yeah.
Every one of those scenes, man, was just fucking hitting me.
It's about family.
Parent stuff, dude. It gets me even. It always would have. Because never forget, I wept on my my apartment bed when I watched the season 3 finale of Stranger Things.
Right.
I fucking wept.
Yeah.
I didn't have kids at that point, but I felt that dad moment. But I certainly was feeling it during those episodes. That's what I mean. Like, this show makes me happy on so many levels, but it also makes me sad in a good way in so many other levels.
Yeah.
It's got something I feel
Today's
like for
episode
everybody.
did make me sad. Of like the different timeline.
So we just wrapped up the 7th episode, so it's the one, spoilers, where we see what was going on with Echo, Heimerdinger, and Jace while they were off screen for the past couple of episodes.
Right.
And it's a really good. It might be like when it started. Usually, I'm not big into like they go to a different dimension or they go back around in time type of storylines.
Right.
So at first, I was like, "Oh, is this gonna be just these guys the whole time?" So I thought I wasn't gonna enjoy it as much. But it might be my favorite, even though I really love the last episode. It might be my personal favorite of the last 3 episodes. I really enjoyed it.
It's a creative take on the different dimension dynamic. It doesn't feel tropey at
No.
all. It feels
It
very
fits
important
what's
to the
going
story.
on there,
Yeah,
yeah.
you start to put together what's going to happen
Mm-hmm.
in the story with this. You're really awakening to the possibilities of where magic and the arcane
Mm-hmm.
ends up, and
Yeah.
you are. This is the episode where it's really finally driven home how right Heimerdinger is with everything, or how
Yeah.
he was with you got to be careful with the
Yeah.
arcane. Like that's his whole
It's his whole shtick.
shtick. And
Nobody
it's
listened to him.
also the name of the show, so
Yeah.
it's important. And we saw its full potential of how it just can really, really get out of hand.
Really get it, like and how good the world could be if it wasn't there at all.
Right.
And
How we should almost be thankful that
My God.
we don't have to deal with shit like that.
Yeah.
Of people who mess with powerful shit that they don't understand. Luckily, we don't have anything like that in real life.
Nothing like that in real life.
Yeah,
Real life's so much better than a fantasy world.
it really is.
But in the fantasy world, what I really, really liked about this episode in particular is like we know Echo. We've seen him throughout the series.
He's my favorite character.
This
so
was
far,
an
I think.
episode though that really
One of my faves.
it let us dive into his character. Even like they really give him.
It was really his episode.
It was his episode. You knew that he was really close with Powder when they were kids, but I don't think the show ever went out of its way to be like he was in love with this girl. And this episode really
The only
showed
vibe
it.
I got from that was when they actually fought
Mhm.
the first time,
Yeah,
and that was my favorite scene from season 1 when
Dude.
like they fight and like it flashes back and forth between them as kids and them as adults.
Yeah.
It didn't make me cry, but
You
again,
felt it.
I went like, oh, that's good.
and it goes a little into that with this episode by showing like why that was such a big deal because he was like if this would have been his life, he would be with the girl that he loves, but she's
Yeah,
fucking.
that did make me sad.
Yeah, it was cool, and he invented the time reversal thing.
So I was confused how. So this he gets blasted into a timeline
Mm-hmm.
where Vi dies on the heist,
Mm-hmm.
and Powder gives up the hex tech things to the police, and then they confiscate it all,
I think she keeps it. I think she destroys it or something.
or she just
Isn't it like shattered in a baggie in like her drawer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how he finds it.
yeah.
But nothing happens with it, so like hex tech doesn't happen because of that.
Basically, I'm gonna say like Jace doesn't get involved. Maybe he dies that day too. They
Right.
don't really dive into like
They don't die. Yeah,
That?
they don't talk about what he was doing,
but
because you'd assume if hex tech doesn't happen, he remains poor.
sure.
But you see how different things are, and better in a way.
Yeah, I'd say it's like Vi is dead, but like the world's pretty okay.
Yeah, it's almost like her. Well, her
The
death.
Undercity
almost,
is in poverty. It doesn't look like the fucking Gotham. You know what I mean?
right. It looks like it's on the up and up,
Mhm.
and like people are generally happy. Like it's almost like Vi's death united a lot of people, because like Vander and Silco made up.
Mhm.
They like call themselves Zon, so I don't know if they actually gained independence.
Yeah, I don't.
But it doesn't seem like they're as worried about Piltover.
No. Yeah. So it seems like a good world.
Yeah.
They don't go too far into like they know this is a made up multiverse that really isn't that important, so they don't want to really
Right.
give you too much. Because then they're also showing you Jace going through a world that was completely destroyed because of Hex Tech.
Right. It goes to
Fucking
its like
love that
ultimate
stuff.
conclusion of what Heimerdinger warned. Like,
Right, and then he's seeing it, and he's living it, and he's struggling through it to follow.
yeah, pretty much
the
everything was
mage.
wiped out.
Yeah.
Yeah, in horrific ways,
Yeah. Oh, dude.
weird magical ways.
I'm glad that Echo is your favorite character because he has one of my favorite and one of the coolest, and honestly one of the most important moments in the final episode. It is so good. It's so good.
Oh, I'm excited to see it.
Oh my god. He does a thing that, like, in the midst of it I was like, no, and then he did it and I was like, oh fuck, and it was so cool. Anybody who's seen the episode knows what I'm talking about.
Also, what a turnaround for Jinx's character this season too.
Oh yeah.
Like, they're really trying to kind of more push her towards the redemption angle.
Yeah.
Even though from season 1, I'm still like, how can you fully redeem her from this? Because she killed, like, a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
If they actually do, Brayden.
But they did introduce time travel and different dimensions and the ability to do some pretty crazy shit with magic
Yeah.
this episode. So anything can happen, literally.
I guess. They don't go in that direction of, like, anything could happen.
Well, they're going more in the direction of don't mess with the arcane. So I'm guessing that's
Yeah.
where they're going with it. They're not going to use the arcane to solve the arcane's issues.
No.
That would be counterintuitive.
You'll see. It's dude. The final, like, 15 minutes are so, in my opinion, awesome. Just beautiful to look at, beautiful to watch, beautiful to experience. It's really something special. I don't know if it's my favorite episode of the season so far, but it had a lot of great moments. Great moments.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
This show's great because, like, there's not even that much action in terms of, like, it's a fighting game, kind of, or, like, it's a competition game.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is, like, story-driven. It's not just, like, you don't just watch it for the fights.
And when the fights do come, they're very unique.
Yeah.
And fun to watch.
And well done.
Everybody's got different abilities.
It's quality, not quantity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're not, like, bombarded with them all the time.
No. Every episode has, like, at least one or two, like, type of battles, fights, sort of things, but, like, some are longer than others, some aren't.
But this one, there wasn't really a battle.
No, not really. There was, like the action was, like, the dancing, and, like, the action was, like, the energy exploding and Heimerdinger dying. And
yeah,
all
what
that
was
shit.
that about?
The energy from him, like, plugging it together, just, like...
And he knew that was going to happen?
I think so, yeah.
He exploded twice in this episode.
He did, yeah. One he didn't get to come back
That
from.
part was crazy. I was like, whoa!
Dude, yeah, when I first watched it, too, I was like... But then he reversed it. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah,
like,
that was
what a dark way for him to go out.
very
Though it's
gruesome.
essentially what happens to him.
Yeah.
I will say it's a show that is very, like, at this point, fine with letting some of its main characters die.
Get
And,
killed off, yeah.
That's just one of them.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any actual champions that have died yet, like heroes that are like dead. There's a few that you think are dead, but they don't actually die.
Yeah, I'm not sure at this point which ones are dead and aren't dead.
Yeah.
If you do the last couple episodes, dude, the one thing I felt watching the final episode too was, like, I've never played the game. I've only seen the game, but I feel like if you play the game, like, the way the final battle, like, it's this big battle for the final episode.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if I was into that game, it felt like it was like a, here you go, guys.
Yeah.
This is your game being played
That's
on
yeah,
this show.
yeah.
And I thought it was really well. As an outsider,
They got to take that opportunity as much as, any good video game show tries to emulate, like, what it would actually be like to play the game.
in a good way.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, even the Fallout TV show did that with, like, the decisions that Ella Purnell's character makes
Sure.
is, like, decisions that the player would make. Like, they go and scavenge and take a stim pack and heal up. And
It's kind of what they do with Jinx, where, like, Ella Purnell's character has to make a choice, and
yeah, good point.
what she does might affect everything.
Right. Because pretty much her character's actions drove the entire plot of the first season.
Yeah.
She's been more passive in this season, but it's been more working on her character and her
I'll
inner...
say everything that's gone on this season went in completely like every episode. I had a theory. I know I said this to you earlier, and I'm not going to spoil what the theory is, but like finally I had a theory on this show that came to true, and I was right about it in the final episode. But the beautiful thing about this show is I can't even make a lot of theories because I can't even possibly guess what's going to happen next almost every episode.
Yeah.
And this season's just another continuation of like every episode went in a direction that I never would have figured, and it was more than what I wanted. Like just really good shit.
Just delivered 2 good seasons of television and peace out.
And I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine. Like, do I want more? Yeah, but am I good with a completed story that just hit me for 18 episodes straight? Totally.
Yep. It'll always be that
Abso-fucking-lutely.
good story.
So good.
Even if they come out with spin-off seasons in the same world and they're bad, it won't affect these 2.
No. And the thing that makes it really good is like there are tragedies and there are art tragedies. And this show is one of those art tragedies where like it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's tragic, but it's beautiful. And like there's so many deaths by the end of characters that you thought you wanted to die, but when they did die, it's like the show still finds a way for you to be sad about it.
You rarely feel bad. You
There's
really
no good
feel
and bad
good
guys.
when like they die, except for that like weird rat thing that they fought.
Yeah, there's like some monsters.
That got
I'd
chopped
say
up.
Ambessa is the antagonist for sure, but
She's a hero too in the game.
yeah, not in the show.
No, she's definitely evil in the show.
But yeah, you just never know how you feel about certain characters, and it's weird to have a show where like you got Jinx, who you really like, even though she's kind of crazy and bad, but you like her, and you like Vi, but you also like Caitlyn. Jinx killed Caitlyn's mom.
Right.
Caitlyn has every reason to want to kill Jinx.
Yeah,
It's just like
they all
these-
hate each other,
Yes,
but
they
you like them
can't.
all. Yeah.
And they all have to like find a way to kind of work with each other and shit. Like, oh my god! I'll tell you what. The last 10 minutes of the last episode from last week, where the little girl fucking blew herself up trying to save,
Yeah.
like that whole everything that happened where Jace can't, because like great episode. You're watching Ambessa's army kind of come in, and you're watching Vi and them go to Victor's people, and you're seeing where there's going to be problems, but they find a way around it. But then this loose cannon Jace just comes in and fucking
Who's been having
wrecks
a
the place.
horrible time this season.
Oh man, let me tell you, I was just sitting there like mouth agasp, just
Why
waiting.
did
for the
he want
episode
to
end.
kill Victor again?
You have to wait still, man. I mean, you kind of see it in the flashback episode. You see that he's seeing a world while he was in the Hex Machine. He's seeing a world that this
Right.
is what happens if Victor goes free. So like he goes to kill him, but there's a little more to that they show you later on.
Got it.
Why exactly? Which kind of stems with my theory that came true. I was so pumped. I was like, there fucking is, man. Because first week I looked at Miranda and I was like, blank theory. And boy, when it came to light, I was just like, God, so fucking awesome. Well, not only was it fucking awesome, but then they did something with that. Like, something I didn't, because I was just like, I bet blank, blank, blank. And it was like blank, 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 but blank, 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 blank. And I was like, what? So good.
So you came true, but upped the ante at the same time.
Yes, they did more with it than I could have ever postulated. And,
Well, I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait for you to see it too, man. I can't wait for you to see it too, because I've seen, I've scrolled through some videos this week of people bitching. Some Reddit threads are just people being like they weren't happy with the finale, and I was
Really?
just like, yeah, and I was just like,
People are gonna bitch about
that's,
anything.
I mean, everybody's, you're gonna see the people complaining, but to me, it's perfect. It's perfect. There's nothing I'd change.
I haven't had any complaints on it so far.
I think a lot of younger people, here I am judging younger people. I think a lot of younger people are just used to having the best thing, like stories. Like they're in a time where like shows are way better than they've ever been.
Yeah.
So they don't know how to just appreciate like they almost try to want more out of
Try.
things.
Try watching Son of Dracula.
Shit. Yeah. Try. It's fucking hard. Oh, shit. If you can't handle this, you'll never make it through that.
Oh,
You'll never get through the start of that dog shit movie. Yeah, but Arcane season 2, we spoiled just up to episode 7, but the last 2 are great, and
Yep.
I can't wait for you
have
to see
nothing
it.
but good things to say about it.
Well then, let's talk some more about some good things.
Do you want to go into the main course meal?
I do. Let me grab my Dr. Pepper real quick.
Yeah, get your Dr. P.
Okay.
Man, I'm hoping this episode will be popular. It's gonna be popular.
Me too.
It's just Chaz and Brad. We're having a gab.
And we're doing a rap.
That rap part of the Wicked movie was unexpected but delightful. When they just started rapping.
When did they start rapping?
You don't remember when they started rapping?
I don't know if I do.
They didn't start rapping.
No. I was like, I'm sure I've forgotten a lot at this point, but I don't recall.
Kept it going.
I'm so uncool.
That
I'm
rap
so
scene
uncool.
was really good.
Yeah, dude. When
Yeah.
when that goat teacher just started DJing,
Break dancing.
oh my god, it was so good.
It was really good.
No, get serious.
No, we saw Wicked tonight,
Yeah,
and it was really good. We had a really good time.
we had a really good
Really
time
great
at the
time.
movie theaters. I felt things. I know I've been saying that about a lot of things I've been watching lately, and maybe my core is just weakened
Yeah.
by so many things hitting me like this, but it hit me pretty fucking hard, this movie.
I got chills at several parts. Got laughs out of me.
There was a scene, and I will go into detail about it, that a tear formulated in my eye. That's me using dialogue from the movie, formulated,
Yeah,
and like started to run down, and I was like,
it affected you.
it affected me multiple times. Singing has that ability on me. There's like
Yeah.
when people sing really well.
By the way, phenomenal singing. Just
phenomenal
in general.
singing. Yeah,
Like
the-
anyone had any doubt,
the
but like,
whole-
yeah.
If you thought the rapping was good, the singing
The singing's even better.
was way better. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, that. Whew. Good singing just hits me, and good singing mixed with like compelling storyline.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna get into it yet, but the part that I'm talking about that made me cry, like that made me just tear, there wasn't even singing. There wasn't even speaking. That's how amazing that
It's just
scene
acting.
was. It was just the fucking movie, and we'll get there. I had watched this musical when I was in my freshman year of college, and it was like a recording of the Broadway, like somebody's recording of it.
Oh,
know
you
what I-
didn't even see the stage play in person.
No, like I just saw a recorded
I've
version
seen the
of
stage
it.
play once,
Yeah.
and it was really good.
Yeah, I mean,
But it was
for
a long time ago.
what I saw of it, it was really good. So, yeah, and so we're talking for me, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
So I forgot most of it.
The
I
only
forgot pretty
song-
much everything.
I forgot pretty much everything. The only song I remembered was Popular. I forgot every other song.
What was it? Which one was it?
Popular.
I get that it was popular, but what one was it?
The popular song.
Okay,
You know
whatever.
which one it was.
Go on.
But yeah, so I saw the stage play on Broadway in New York a long time ago when I was like probably 19.
Okay.
When did we meet? How old was I? I was 22
years old.
years old. So that was 3 years before.
No,
we-
I was saying you were 2 years old.
I was. Yeah, oh yeah,
When
that's
we were
right.
kids.
When we were kids and we grew up together
Right.
in the same neighborhood.
Were you 22 when we first started hanging out? I was 26.
I was out of college.
How old are you right now? 28.
Yeah,
Yeah. You would have been 22.
yeah.
Dang. So,
So
not,
it's been a while for me too.
for sure.
Almost a decade.
To the point that like I said, I didn't remember most of the story. Sometimes I love living in a timeline where there were all these great classic things, and now we have people that just like, and they're not always good, but when they are good, it's really good when they put a twist on it.
Yeah.
And I forget how much I really do just love the whole lore and world of Oz in general until
And
I'm in it again.
Rewrite of
Yeah.
Oz that
Yeah.
works with. I think most people just accept as like their own canon
Yeah.
to
Like
the general.
It might as
world.
well be.
Right.
It might as well
They
be.
wrote it perfectly into Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, nobody's character. I mean, I guess other than the Wicked Witch, nobody's character is all that different than what they're really like in the Wizard of Oz movie.
Yeah, and it explains why the Wicked Witch is like that.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it so much. I loved it so much. All the characters are fun, or they suck. I'll tell you another thing. They're in like college. Is that they're university?
Yeah.
They seem like high schoolers. There's no greater example of like what I saw as like high school friends than like the group when Mbessa's like watching them from afar, and it's the fucking hot dude. Can't remember anybody's names.
Jonathan Bailey.
Sure, yeah, him.
Yeah.
It's the girl in the
Fierro.
wheelchair.
Fierro. He plays Fierro.
Fierro.
Yeah. Fierro's an important character.
The girl in the wheelchair. Yeah, I just don't remember anybody's names. Anessa. We got the ginger from the
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Yep.
Buck.
Yeah, Buck. Him. And we got
Is it Bach or Buck?
Buck.
Bach.
Buck.
It's Bach.
Buck.
Like the
Like-
composer.
Yeah. And then you got Ariana Grande's character,
Glinda.
Glenda. I don't know.
Glinda.
But she changes it at the end.
She changes it to Glinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's them like all together, and I saw them as a group of high schoolers, right? People that are all interested in each other, but not really.
It's
and they're all
partially based off of the book, and I think they are underage high schoolers in the book.
Okay, yeah, then
Yeah.
that would be the case. I felt that energy,
Yeah.
and I liked feeling that energy. Like you get into like the relationships of all the characters, and
Right.
their
Which is
quirky
impressive
little-
that they all feel like they're in high school, even though I think everyone is like late 20s, 30s in this movie.
for sure.
Bowen Yang's like 34, and he looks really young in this.
Is that Fierro?
Bowen Yang?
I don't know who Bowen Yang is.
Oh, he was Ariana Grande's friend, Glinda's friend. He's on SNL.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, yeah, okay.
He's 34, and he looks
Wow, yeah, he does look pretty young.
really young. Yeah,
Yeah, he does a very convincing what his character is.
right. The gay best friend.
For sure. Yeah. They don't shy away from that at all. Very,
No, it's musical
very
theater.
funny stuff.
It's movie based off a musical.
This
theater
movie
play.
made me
Yeah.
laugh a lot. Yeah, I truly, dude, you said it best. It was Infinity War for
Musical theater.
musical
nerds.
theater people, because like I'm not even a musical theater person. I went to school for theater, but like I was completely captivated by it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and
It
you
won
could
me
tell
over
there's some
entirely.
big musical theater / just general Wicked fans in the audience tonight.
Mhm.
Which it wasn't a huge crowd that we were in, but it was
It was pretty filled. It was
bigger
filled
than-
up pretty nice.
bigger than other theaters that we've.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, people were clapping at songs. Kelly made fun of them.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did. She did. She brutally made fun of this
Yes.
woman in front of us and hurt her feelings.
She cried.
She
And
didn't cry, but
she might have. I cried. You don't know. She might have cried. a
she
multiple
probably did
times.
cry at the movie. But she just was having a really good time. She did clap again later.
Yeah.
She was just the only one who clapped at that one scene.
yeah.
Kaylee let out a little chuckle, and then I thought it was really funny.
Hey, you can't hold back. When you feel something, it's best to just let it out,
Yeah,
other than hold it in. That can
you
destroy
almost
a
clapped. You said at that
person.
one
I did
part.
at the end of like the first big song.
After the end of The Wizard
clapped.
and I.
Yes,
That was my second favorite song
that was really good.
of the whole
Yeah.
movie.
That's when I knew we
Which
weren't
is like-
fucking around.
It was like,
Like-
I have to be honest. When
Yeah.
when it started, I wasn't sure if I was liking it or not
Okay, wow.
at the beginning,
At the very
the
beginning.
very beginning.
Okay.
But then after, like, it was kind of getting slow for me, and like
Mm.
I wasn't like super excited for this movie or anything. I was just more curious,
Mm-hmm.
if anything. It wasn't until the first like big belting song, "The Wizard and I,"
Mhm.
that she does, which I forget the main actress's name.
I can't remember her name either.
Cynthia Erzine. The girl who plays Alphaba.
Mm-hmm.
After she finishes,
I'll cut that. I'm sure one of those was right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. After the first belting song, "The Wizard and I,"
She won you over there. The
That's-
movie won you over
that's
there.
where the movie won me over.
Okay,
Where
that
I
was-
was like really into it. That was really good.
Yeah,
Like,
that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty. Well, that was like the first song that it was able to like go the distance, even with our shitty sound quality in the theater.
that's one thing we should mention is that disappointingly, this theater did not use its surround sound system, so
Yeah.
it was really quiet. Kaylee mentioned it right away, which I didn't notice it right away, and it wasn't until
I
like
noticed it immediately.
the first songs came on, that like there was no surround sound.
Yeah.
It was just coming straight from the
It
front.
made the singing sound odd at first. Like, yeah, like
I got into it
yeah.
eventually, but it was disappointing and could have been
But
better audio wise.
The movie was so good.
the movie
I
theater
forgot about it.
Yeah,
pretty quickly too. But
it still sucks you in. Yeah,
it would have been way cooler to see completely surrounded by that music. Yeah. I was into it by that point. I think just the story in general had gotten me by that point, but that first big musical number with the Wizard and I was.
Yeah, that's when I was really starting to have a good time. Was
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah, and the movie goes on, and it goes to, just the way this is edited to get like, knowing that a lot of people have only ever seen this through like a stage performance, like I think they turned it into just a really cool looking movie. Like the way some shots are
Oh, it was
edited,
beautiful.
the looks, like
Well,
things you can't do on stage that they could do for a movie.
When you were talking to Miranda, Kaylee and I watched a Chris Stuckman review of it,
Okay.
and he mentioned that like it's most of it is practical effects.
Oh, it totally was.
Yeah,
You could tell, dude. That was something I was thinking while I was watching it. There were so many like types of people
it
and
looked awesome. Yeah,
that like in other things, in different things, and things today that would be like CGI characters, but they just had people in costumes. Yeah, everything was real.
yeah.
It
They
was,
built sets. They built that train.
Yeah.
that came was real.
It's truly like the evolution of the Wizard of Oz. Like Wizard of Oz movie was made with what they fucking had that they
Yeah.
could use to make that movie at the time. Practically, they did it again now, and it. Oh my god, it looks so good.
It's very
It's
good.
so pleasing just
Yeah.
to see. You're almost shocked by it because you're so used to just
it's
seeing
very
everything
well
animated.
Made. It's very well made.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I-
Oh my
I-
god.
yeah. I thought that there was a shit ton of marketing for this movie.
hmm
They were trying to recreate a Barbenheimer experience,
Mhm.
and I wasn't sure if they were gonna actually pull that off. But I think
They were so desperate. They were like, "Hey kids, go watch some porn on the internet, and then come see our movie. You'll come see us because we led you to porn."
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta go see this movie that led me to the greatest website that I've ever been on in my entire life.
that's right.
Did you go to the website?
No.
No, me neither. I'm a little curious, but I haven't. I'm sure. I don't know. I bet the numbers for that site went up for a couple weeks there.
Probably.
But
I
yeah,
wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, they knew what they had, and
Yeah.
so they pushed it. And I think this movie's gonna make a lot of money.
Oh,
because
certainly.
I probably won't see it again.
You
in
think it'll make a
theaters, but I
$1 billion?
would like- I think it might make $1 billion.
We'll see.
We'll
I think
see.
it could,
I think it could as well.
especially if word of mouth spreads that it's really good.
It was already popular enough amongst the people that already like Wicked.
Yeah.
That it was gonna get close to that.
I think it's a good enough
Just has to
musical
get
that
everybody else.
it's one of those rare musicals that's good enough for like regular people who don't normally watch musicals to enjoy.
Oh, totally. I think this movie, as I was watching the movie, I was like, I really think we're watching something that is going to go down in history as like a movie that did something with the genre differently that
Yeah,
keeps
you
it
said
around.
you said you think we watched something special.
I think we watched something special tonight. Once again, just like how the Wizard of Oz, when it came out, was a very special
Yeah.
technological beast of a movie that people still talk about to this day. I think this movie has energy of like it gave me that same like Grease kind of energy type of like that's a classic musical movie that was a musical before it became a movie, but when the movie came out,
Yeah.
everybody knows Grease. Now
Well-
everybody's gonna know Wicked, I think.
Well, in the same way that when the actual stage play came out, it
Yeah.
reinvigorated the whole feel of Wizard of the Oz and the musical scene. And
Anybody who didn't catch it then is going to be seeing this movie now and being into it.
oh, certainly.
Like there's always going to be people
'Cause
that this isn't for,
yeah, and
but
a lot of people don't go to see Broadway musicals. They're expensive as hell, and it's just not in a lot of people's interests.
Yeah.
But I think even normies will be. I think normies would enjoy this.
I
is
see
what I'm saying.
myself as kind of a normie
Yeah,
in the grand.
but you've seen it before.
I have, but I've
You've
not.
been
You know,
exposed to it. I'm talking about people who don't really watch musical theater or have any exposure to it whatsoever.
Right.
I think they
I've
could
been
enjoy
in
it.
musicals.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, people who haven't even seen one.
Right.
But yeah, I think because even my friend Danny saw it Friday night, and we hung out with her last night, and she was saying she's usually she doesn't like musicals. She's not really a big musical fan, and
Yeah.
that aspect did kind of turn her off of the movie. But she was still like, I still thought it was a really good movie.
Right.
Just musicals aren't for me, was her review. So if you don't even like musicals and you still can like the movie for what it is, I think that says something, because the music just fucking takes it to the next level.
And one of the things I am grateful for, because this is one of the things that can kind of fatigue me with musicals, is that I felt like the pacing of the songs were paced out very well. Because there are some musicals, like I really have a hard time getting through Les Mis, because it's like singing the whole way through pretty much.
Yeah, it is. I'm almost certain. Yeah.
And I even struggled with Hamilton a little bit when I realized that like that was the whole play, was them singing songs the entire time. Like there weren't like bits of acting in between, but there's bits of acting in between this, and like well acted scenes and comedic scenes. Like Ariana Grande is very funny in this.
Yeah,
she's kind of like
she as a caricature, you should hate her. Yeah, but her character,
she does a good job at making you like her still.
You even like her even though she's the worst.
Yeah,
a little bit. She's not the worst.
She starts out as the worst.
Yeah,
but you kind of see where she's coming from.
Right.
Later on,
she's a real person.
Her character grows. Everyone's character grows in certain ways, except for maybe her friends.
Yeah, they just kind of stop hanging out.
Yeah,
at a certain point.
Kind of toss them.
Yeah, she's got other friends now.
Yeah. Do you think it was worth? Do you think this movie was worth a broken marriage?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think we got out of something great, and sadly, that's the world we live in, where sometimes
what'd you think
you have to
of
break
him?
A few eggs and make an omelet.
What'd you think of him? Did he distract you at all? He distracted me.
He distracted you?
A little bit.
Just because you know personal stuff about him?
Yeah, isn't that a little wrong?
It's interesting because he plays a character that is himself.
It's almost that's what's distracting about it, is because even his character arc that is happening in his movie is almost similar to what was going on in real life, where like he's stuck between Ariana and this other woman,
right?
Which it's just in real life this other woman was his wife at the time.
Yeah.
His
and honestly
newly birthed child and wife.
Yeah. We're in a little TLC here.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, yeah.
But I was just thinking, like, I don't even think I needed him in the movie. I don't think he needed to be in the movie.
I don't mind it, because I like the dynamic of just, like, you just feel like everybody's relationship in that circle is just kind of icky.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know.
They're weird teens.
Yeah.
Mean teenagers.
Yeah. Like, he is hanging out with that girl that really likes him because he actually likes Ariana Grande, Glenda, Prince Charming, Fabio, Ferrario. He he actually likes the witch and
Fabrizio.
I don't know. I try not to look at who they are as best as I can when I'm watching these kind of things, because like I could have done that with Ariana Grande too, but I just was like, she is an actor. Even though she's Ariana Grande, she is an actor. She's in this movie. She's playing this character really well. I gotta just roll with it for the sake of this.
Oh, I thought she did great in the movie.
Great.
I was just saying his character distracted me. She needs to be in the movie.
His character definitely sucks. Don't get bought.
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to like him too.
That's why I even turned to Kaylee when he was still pining after Glinda at that one scene after he'd already like stolen the heart of Anessa.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, even his character in this movie sucks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you get it, but you're also like,
also,
like
I thought the
icky.
Munchkins were little people. I didn't think that they're just kind of like short gingers.
Yeah, I think it just depends on.
He's just
like,
his regular height, and they're like, yeah, he's a Munchkin. He's from Munchkin.
He is like a little shorter. He's like a little shorter.
He didn't seem that short. He seemed like
just
a normal,
little.
He seemed like a regular dude's height. Maybe.
I think it just depends on
like
who's
barely short king.
Who's making
title.
It. You know what I mean?
I've seen shorter dudes, and I want to call them.
There
Munchkins.
are shorter Munchkins in the Wizard of Oz, the original movie.
They were all little people.
It just
in the original
depends.
Movie. They were all drunk little people in the original movie.
Yeah. So I just think it depends on who's making it. You know, what kind of character they want these things to look like. Do they want them to look like little people, or do they want them
Speaking
to look
of
like
little people, I didn't know until after that Peter Dinklage was the GOAT.
Me neither. Well, I mean, I knew as I was hearing him, but I was like, I didn't know until I was experiencing it. I was like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
Tyrion Lannister in the goat flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. That whole like
I
storyline
completely
was
forgot about it.
all of that.
Was the animal stuff in the stage play? I can't remember.
I couldn't tell you. Like I said, I forgot most of it. She's saying yes, so yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
a pretty
forgot about that.
important. It's all of Ambessa or
Yeah.
Ambessa. Jesus Christ.
I know. I think you said that earlier too.
Did I say Ambessa?
Yeah.
I'm still talking about Arcane. Fucking
Anessa?
not Anessa. The main character.
Alphaba.
Alphaba, thank you. Jesus fucking Christ. The Wicked Witch. That was Alphaba's whole motivation.
Right.
Was like the animals.
Saving
like,
the animals.
the animals.
They're committing a cultural genocide against the animals and forcing their
fucked up.
silence. Very fucked up.
Very fucked up.
Which I guess the book is even more fucked up. Kaylee says that there's an entire underage orgy scene that they cut out.
Yeah, that's a smart move for
Yeah.
family film.
Yeah, they're definitely marketing this. This is a film you can take your kids to, even though there are some dark themes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tastefully done.
Yeah.
It's a very tastefully done movie in general.
Yeah. All my coworkers read the book a couple months ago, and I was supposed to read it with them, and I didn't. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I think I don't like reading things right before I see something.
Right. This might be good to read it now.
Right. Yeah. Because one, it
Scratch
was
that itch, because I don't know when part 2 comes out.
comes out next year,
Oh,
so it's at
right.
least a year away.
So they filmed them back to back.
Yeah, it was just there's
Smart.
so much that it was like, well, we don't want to make this a really fucking long movie, so
Yeah.
let's just cut her into 2.
Yeah, it was like
It was a long movie as it was.
I was one of those people at first that was like, oh, of course they're making it 2 movies, make extra money. But after watching it, I was like, I'm glad they made it 2 movies because they covered a lot of ground and there's still a lot left to tell.
Well, just like Arcane, I didn't feel like there was any like it was all important.
Nothing
Every
was
scene,
silly, no.
Yeah, it just felt all important, all story driving.
Yeah.
Or entertaining
There's nothing.
for entertainment.
Yeah, there's nothing like too gratuitous about
Mhm.
anything. I thought.
I want to talk about the scene that made me cry.
Yeah.
So the scene that made me cry, it was all the build up of, because it's the movie just playing into this really great scene. So I'll go back before the scene itself happens, but it's just, you can help me with names because I'm gonna suck at them the whole way through. But Ariana Grande's character, Glenda, she convinces Bart,
Bach.
She convinces him to go talk to Anessa. Nope. Yes. It is Anessa, not Ambessa.
Yes.
Okay.
Her little sister, who I think eventually Alphaba's little sister, who I think eventually becomes the Wicked Witch of the East.
Okay.
The one whose house gets dropped on her.
Right on.
Because she got the glass slippers in this.
Right. So she goes. He goes and asks her to go to the dance thing. Right.
Right.
So
Bach.
that
Bach
happens.
does.
That whole situation happens. It does the thing where Glenda gives the hat to
Alphaba. The Wicked Witch hat. The iconic
Wicked Witch hat, and it's kind of a joke, but she's trying to be nice about it.
Right. And this was in
She's
the
not
trailer.
really trying to be nice about it, but it's all a bunch of shit that's just going on that's leading to the scene where Alphaba comes into this club, which, let me just say this like club that they all go dancing at one point in the movie is going to be an iconic scene in movie cinema history for the end of time.
Definitely. It was
That was a great
a lot
all
of
of it.
A lot of pin drop moments.
Yes.
A lot of very emotional. I mean, it's kind of like an early climax in the movie.
For sure. Oh, for sure. I mean, I cried.
Yeah.
And it's like halfway through the movie. So she comes in, everybody's making fun of her, but by this point, the fucking main witch bitch comes in and says to Glenda, "You're in, I can teach you, but you know what? It's all because of that bitch. She said she was going to leave here if you didn't get taught by me.
Yeah.
So you owe her." And like that's when like Glenda's character really finally shows the good person that
It's
is
a
in
turning
there.
point to her character.
Yes.
Yeah. Where she realizes, oh, I've been a jerk this whole time. She's actually not evil.
And that's what I loved about the scene was like it's nobody's talking. Fucking dancing. She's just staring at her as she's like realizing how great her roommate is now.
Yeah.
And then she goes out there and does the dance, and it's just all music, and it's all their acting, and everything about that coming together as friends and like taking a stand against bullying shit just fucking got me, man.
Yeah. It's over the top but subtle at the same
It
time.
was so captivating. Nobody was singing.
No, it was just
Nobody
their
was
movements.
talking.
And it was
And I
communicated.
cried. It was beautiful.
You knew exactly what was being communicated.
Exactly. And right in that moment, you didn't, anything you felt negative about Glenda was fucking gone.
Yeah.
You were like,
And that's
same with her. Same with the Wicked Witch. She was just like, yeah, we're boys now.
and that's one of the benefits of this being in a movie form that it has over a stage play, is that you can like really key in on the emotions in that particular situation, and like the actresses' faces.
This movie's cinematography is fucking amazing.
Bonkers, yeah.
Bonkers. It's a great word. Because yeah, that exactly is what kind of sells the scene. Because you're getting everybody's facial expressions right in those moments.
No dialogue, but just like
She's
reactions.
crying.
and-
It's fantastic. It's just, I love friends becoming friends.
Yeah. Oh,
I love a good origin friends story.
My favorite part of that was the hug, because you could tell that was just like a real hug. Like, you would forgive someone very quickly after that hug, where you realize, like, no, this is an actual.
This is for real. What's
Yeah,
happening here?
They're genuine.
And that just says a lot about the acting chops of every.
Right.
Everybody in every scene gave it 100%.
They did.
They gave everything they did 100%. And that scene, the movie had already won me over leaps and bounds by it, but the tear came out there for the first time
Yeah.
in this movie, because it happened again.
I definitely think it's winning some Oscars.
I would say.
I want Cynthia Irvin.
Yeah.
I think she's a big contender for it, because she blew me away with some of her songs.
She's got some pipes.
Defying Gravity
Yeah.
at the end of the movie.
It wouldn't let me down.
They really stretched it out, because you knew
Oh, they did.
they did it once.
Whenever
and
they stretched out songs,
knew it
it was
wasn't it.
so well done.
you knew it wasn't it, and like
No, yeah.
they took their
'cause
time
They
with it, but
never
it was-
hit the big moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it kept going, and then like they would stop and they would like talk and act for a little bit, and then like you knew it was all coming. It was all
They'd
building
sing
up.
a little more.
Yeah.
They'd do it again. They still wouldn't hit that. They still wouldn't go. Bring me down. That was it. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, when's she gonna just hold that? When's she gonna hold the down?
And she
lets it fucking loose,
Yeah.
man. It's so good.
huge moment.
You what? Like they
Her
name
cape-
her a wicked witch, and she just becomes the fucking wicked witch
Yeah, she finally
through music.
she finally gets her like cape and broom.
Oh
She's
yeah,
like, starting to
she
fly
learns how to fly on the spot.
on the spot, but she's still like not there. And then like finally, once she does hit that note, like I think her cape gets bigger.
Yeah, definitely longer.
It
was
gets
like,
longer, and like it's
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
it's this
yeah.
huge moment.
I mean, it made her just look.
You just feel powerful.
Yeah. It just has that
You
energy.
feel like you were defying gravity in that moment.
a little bit. Yeah. Like, I love when movies make the villain character, or like, the known to us as the villain character, just have this big, like, this is why they're the badass villain.
Right, you understand.
Yeah.
Frank Reynolds, I get it.
Right. Because, like, I felt that way when I saw that Transformers movie when Megatron finally came into Megatron.
Yeah.
He's Megatron, but I'm still like, this is fucking Megatron. When she became the Wicked
You
Witch
finally
of the
understand
West,
what
I was
brought
like,
them there. Yeah,
that's our...
that's where it starts.
That's where it starts, because, like...
Because this next movie is gonna be like the Wizard of Oz, but the actual like her perspective, because Dorothy's showing up.
Yeah.
Because we have to get into the whole Scarecrow, because she's involved with all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because this movie starts actually.
That's why I think it's gonna... Like I said, we'll watch something special. It
Yeah.
does start, at the end
It starts
of,
at the end of
Wizard of Oz,
yeah.
which...
She's dead.
I couldn't
supposedly.
remember if that was in the musical either. Like, is that how the musical typically starts?
I don't remember.
Is probably, but
Yeah.
I like how they did that. I like when it showed the Yellow Brick Road, and it showed like the Lion, the Tin Man, Dorothy. They're like walking back.
This movie even explained the origin of the Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah, it sure did.
It's one of those Han Solo moments.
Yeah. Didn't really need it. Like, you know
Didn't
what I
need
mean?
it, but I appreciated it. I did like the visuals of that scene. I liked Jeff Goldblum and him acting. Like,
Yeah, I can't wait to see more of him in the next one as
Yeah.
the wizard.
he always I know he has his own cadence that he only changes up barely in a lot of movies these days, but I always enjoy hearing him just like, prattle away
Mm-hmm.
on things. He just has such an interesting way of speaking. He always relaxes me, even though I knew he was a bad guy because the wizard sucks in The Wizard of Oz.
Right, yeah. The wizard sucks.
He's a con man.
He's a con man.
He's
That's
an
his
engineer.
whole thing. So it was like, no duh, he's the villain of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I think I don't think there's anybody going into the movie, whether they know anything about Wicked or not, that doesn't think oh, the wizard's gonna be the bad guy.
Right.
Because you're watching the Wicked Witch of the West movie, so like they make her. Oh, I just love that they're the ones that spread this bullshit about her.
Right. The propaganda.
And she decides
that
then
turns
that's who
Oz
I'll
against
be.
Yeah, and they go into well, they even mention in the movie the whole reason why animals are being caged and silenced and culturally genocided against is because the wizard came around and riled up all the humans against the animals to unite them under his rule, pretty much. Because he mentions that in order to keep people unified, you need to give them a really good enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's leading into what happens with her, where she becomes the main enemy. And I think she focuses all of Oz's wrath onto her instead of the animals. I don't know if they. I mean, I'm sure they explain in the next movie how the flying monkeys end up following her.
Yeah.
But they're her servants. At the
In
end
the
of it.
Wizard of Oz, yeah.
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 But yeah.
She has that book.
Yeah. They
Maybe
just
that
made her.
has something to do
Yeah.
with it.
They didn't really think that through. Of maybe we should make sure that she'd be cool with our plan before we reveal our evil
Yeah.
machinations to her, because if she just decides to take this book and fuck off, she'll be way stronger than
There's
us.
nothing we can do because we can't do anything,
Yeah, and
actually, at all. She's the only one who can.
Right, she
Which,
literally
what's
has
that
power.
about?
That's why we got her in the first place, and that's exactly what she does. She takes the book and fucks off.
Oh, I can't wait to see the next movie.
I
Man.
know.
I'm so excited already. I hate waiting for things, but I had such a good time. And I could watch, the musical, I could read the book, but I think I'd rather just wait. Because like I said, I've forgotten. I don't really remember exactly. I know they do the Wizard of Oz through a different perspective, but what that looks like, no fucking clue. Oh, it's gonna be a long year to get to that point.
Certainly
I find myself really. Sometimes it's these movies that I least expect to blow me away that become the ones that do it the most.
Do you think Gladiator is going to top this?
I don't.
I don't think it will.
I
either.
mean, it's just a very different kind of movie, but I don't think it will top it. Which is fine. I don't really need it to.
I think it's going to be. I mean, we did the same with Barbie and Oppenheimer, where we chose Barbie and had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched Oppenheimer later. You still haven't seen Oppenheimer. I watched Oppenheimer later and enjoyed it, but I still think out of those two, I was glad we went and saw Barbie instead of Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be glad that we saw Wicked instead of Gladiator 2 this weekend.
I think so as well.
Though I do want to watch Gladiator.
We're definitely gonna still watch it, but we made no mistake by picking this one.
No,
because
this was the best choice.
I feel like if we watched Gladiator, I'd have some negative things to say. I'm sure I would.
Yeah.
Whereas with Wicked, I'd have to try pretty hard to think of something negative to say. Because otherwise, I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, there's so much, too. I feel like there was so much more I wanted to talk about it.
You could just tell everyone was passionate working on this and were excited to be working on this and wanted to get it right. From directing to acting to set design to special effects. The CGI characters all looked good. It wasn't overused.
The animals were so cool looking. Those monkeys were fucking awesome looking.
It's just a cool dimension, and I found myself getting interested into the lore again of what's this hidden history of animals and humans.
Dude, I know. We got a set of 6 of these books at the library that I walk by all the time, like the Wizard of Oz original books. I'm like, maybe I should just sit and read this shit because I feel like I only know so much about the Wizard of Oz. It's like when I got into the Dark Crystal shit, I learned so much more about the lore and the history of that whole world.
Yeah.
When before all it was my whole life was just the Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
Same with Wizard of Oz.
And we know there's a lot of Wizard of Oz lore out there because
I've seen a good chunk of it. I saw James Franco Wizard of Oz movie that came out. Like,
yeah, where it's like the Wizard of Oz, the
it's
Wizard's
the
origin.
Wizard's perspective. Yeah, it's
Which I forgot, he's from Omaha,
pretty good.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Which I think when he in this movie it shows when he pretends to read from the Grimmy, the Grimier, the Grimace.
The wrong word for the grimoire.
He says Omaha,
Yeah.
but they think that he's reading a word because it's a word that they don't recognize, but it's just where he's from. He's from our world.
Yeah, and I like that movie, and I like things like that. Even though he sucks, even though that's the real fucking bad guy origin story is the wizard's origin story.
Yeah, it goes back to him. All roads lead to him.
That they do, and he's making sure of that.
Such a well-crafted movie, based off of a well-crafted story.
That's what I mean, dude.
That was inspired by a different well-crafted story.
Art inspires art that inspires art.
That inspires people to talk about art, thus making art.
Oh my god.
It's art all the way down.
Art from beginning to end. Fuck, man. I love this movie. I loved it so much. I can't believe how much fun I had watching it.
You gonna go home to Miranda? Did you talk to Miranda about it?
I a little bit.
What a time
I
she-
immediately Snapchatted her. I was like, because she said she had diarrhea, and I was like, I don't have diarrhea, but let me tell you, this movie.
You have to immediately watch it with her when it comes out on streaming.
That's what she said. She was like, I will watch it when
Get a
it
good
comes out.
stereo system.
We have a surround something at our house that we'll just turn on.
Watch it like that. Kaylee wants to watch it like that once it comes out because it was definitely a huge missed opportunity. But that just goes to show how good of a time it was. That it was that thing that was distracting and could have been very annoying and ruined the whole experience. But it was such a good movie that
forgot
you forgot about it.
Yeah,
at least I did.
I did too. When you guys brought it up at the end,
Would it
was
have been way
oh,
better
wow.
with surround sound? Yes,
Hell
but like
yeah,
the movie
I would have
stood on
cried
its own
more.
Still,
Yeah,
it didn't need special tricks to like. You could enjoy this on shitty sound still probably. Watch it with good sound though.
Watch it with good sound though. You'd be doing yourself a disservice to not. You know, on a nice TV screen too. There's some good colors that just pop. The green, all the greens.
Very
pop.
beautiful movie.
Dude, so good. Knowing that it's all real is fucking crazy. I still think the exit sign was green because we were watching Wicked. I really do. The exit sign in our theater was green. I feel like they're usually red, but the one in our theater was green.
It was green.
And I was wondering if it was because we were watching Wicked. I don't know for sure. Have
Do
to go
you
back.
think that theater would go through the effort?
To changing the lights?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
do you think they just have like an LED thing in there that they can switch what kind of lights are in the exit sign, or do you think it was just originally green?
I don't know.
Or do you think that they paid those workers to go in and change the light bulbs in that sign to green just for this movie? That movie theater that had missing tiles on the outside of it and faded paint that they never painted over again.
The same movie theater that's in a fucking ghost
That's
ship
a
of a mall.
Yeah, that's in a dead rotting mall with dead rotting parking lots. I was worried for Kaylee's car because the roads were so shit.
Yeah.
Nature was reclaiming them.
Yeah.
You thought you were going to get mugged or swallowed by the mall.
Right, I did.
When you were walking around beforehand because
Yeah.
it is a ghost
I was lost.
town.
It's huge in there too. It's a ghost town, and I found civilization, but it took a while.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. So maybe no, they probably didn't. But I'd like to believe they did. It would be a nice touch.
What do you think would have happened if like you kept walking around the mall and realized that you couldn't find a way out and that all the rooms looked the same?
I would have been terrified.
You were just trapped in that mall.
Well, there was a point where I was like, what if I never find my way back to the movie theater?
Yeah.
I truly was scared. It's a huge mall.
It's a giant place.
And there's nothing.
People had to have lost a fuck ton of money for that property.
Oh, definitely. Like, or they made so much during its early years.
They pump and dumped it.
Yeah. The old classic pump and dump. Yeah, I don't know, man. Probably not. But a man can dream. I think it was green because.
But anyways, I don't think it was green because of the.
A difference of opinion, I
I think it
suppose.
was just originally.
Just call us the old Glenda and Alphabet cereal.
Yep.
Victor and Jace.
Vi and Jinx.
That's us. Dynamic duo.
Yep.
I could probably rattle on more about this movie, and we probably still
yeah, I'm
will.
trying to think of like any other big things that I wanted to.
I feel like
on.
there was a lot in the middle that we really didn't talk about, but like,
Oh yeah, but like we don't have to like
I
go
think
through
we've-
scene for scene.
yeah, I think
It's a
we
long movie. We really had to pee at the end. I think
Really had to
most
pee.
of us.
Worth sticking for though.
But we stick. Yeah, we stuck through it. The first comment I heard as soon as the movie wrapped up was a guy in the back row go, "Too long."
I thought it went pretty quick, like for almost 3 hours. And, you know, it did feel long, but I was like, it was a good long. It was
There
one of
were-
those times where I wasn't like, I never looked at my watch.
No, there
Not a
weren't. There
single
weren't
time.
really any times in the movie where I felt like it was dragging,
Mhm.
and that's tough for a 3-hour movie. There's only a few 3-hour movies that can do that. Lord of the Rings is one,
Yeah, yeah,
but this is Lord of the Rings for theater.
for sure. Yeah, it kind of is. Kind of break a movie up into 3, 2, whatever, many parts, and you'll get the Lord of the Rings or the Infinity War or the.
It's that equivalent to that genre.
It's like when the Twilight movies came out.
I can make
for
a
the-
third comparison.
What's your third comparison?
It's like theater nerd. It's like The Empire Strikes Back for theater nerds.
Do you think it's like The Empire Strikes Back for theater nerds?
I guess it would be more like A New Hope for theater.
Maybe. That's tough. Yeah, no, it is because they'd have to know about it.
It would be like the Phantom Menace for Star Wars fans before Star Wars fans realized that the Phantom Menace was gonna suck at the time.
Mhm. It's like if the Phantom Menace was really good.
Right.
Yeah. Which I like it, but
Yeah, that's my third comparison.
that one wasn't as strong as the other two.
No, it wasn't.
No. Full of
I
holes.
can't think of any
I
other
still
big.
like it though. It's fine. Appreciate it.
It's like
Oh god.
it's like theater nerds. It's like Citizen Kane for theater nerds. Or it's like if movie nerds like this as much as Citizen Kane. I feel like I'm getting further away from it.
I think you are. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you are. I think you had two really good ones that I was really impressed with, and then I was excited for your third. It's like Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3.
It just fell apart at
You're
the end
getting some
there.
Spider-Man 3s here.
Added too many elements into
Yeah.
the third one.
Well, actually, your Spider-Man 3 was the first thing, or the one you just did before,
yeah.
the Star Wars one. And then this one's like your Pirates of the Caribbean 4, just like a fucking we didn't need
Yeah.
this joke analogy. But I see what you're getting at.
Right.
You're right. Yeah, it is. And much like how all of those things brought people from outside just the genre into loving them, I think this will do the same.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Make it more popular.
Popular.
It's gonna be popular. It's gonna make $1 billion. Gonna sell out hollers.
Sell out hollers?
Yeah. You heard me. It's gonna sell out hollers.
There's a baseball field in Kersey called Hollers.
Yeah, it's
Field.
gonna sell that out.
Wow.
They're gonna project it up
That's
on
not
that
that
screen.
big of a deal, but
No,
sure.
It's gonna be. There's movie theaters are gonna be booked everywhere that they're gonna have to start screening.
Going
it.
to baseball fields.
Random baseball fields.
I'd go see it on a baseball field. I'd go see it. If this was driving season, I'd check it out. Well, no, you want good audio.
Yeah,
You don't want
that'd be
good
like
audio.
seeing A Quiet Place Part 2 and driving.
You're like an idiot.
Yeah.
So I brought Amber on. She is my musical loving friend. She works in musical theater. She does a lot of theater shit. And she texted me wanting to talk about Wicked. And I saw Wicked the other day and it blew my fucking mind. So I figured this was a good way to go about it.
Oh, yes. And I saw Wicked the other day, and it blew my fucking mind. And this is an amazing way to go about it, because we need to talk about this.
Yeah, this is... I bet it blew your fucking mind, because one thing that Braden kept saying over and over, so I'm going to quote him here, is like this was like the Infinity War for theater nerds. And
Yeah.
totally, I'm not even, you know what I mean? I'm like sort of a theater kid, right? But not like
Oh, yeah.
a big time one. And it fucking, this movie shook me to my core
Yeah,
for
because you
2.5
gotta think
hours
about
straight.
You got to think about it. Theater fans have been waiting since before COVID. Because they announced that this movie was happening in about like 2018, 2019. Don't quote me on that. But
wow.
I know that they started to audition during COVID.
Oh, wow.
Like,
I
there's
don't think I
videos
did
of-
know that.
Yeah. There's videos of Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo like accepting their role on FaceTime because it's COVID.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
And then do you also know that they took time to shoot both part 1 and part 2 at the same time?
I did know that. I figured that
part
was a
2's
smart
already
move.
done.
Yeah, it sucks that we have to wait. Because I think when they started working on it, I don't think they were planning on making it 2, and then it was just like, we're making it 2.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I'm not sure, because no matter what, it's a really, really good thing they made it 2, because that first one, they did not cut a single piece of music.
Yeah, you know more about this than I do. That's why I'm kind of just going to let you roll off with this episode, because I know some things.
No, it's definitely, it's hard to forget, but when you see the on-stage version, it's easy to kind of forget what they pick and choose to use as transitional and storyline. Because the other great thing about the movie, too, is that they were able to expand on the story. Because Wicked, if you think about Wicked itself, like the musical, is only like 2 hours, 15 minutes. But that first movie...
It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. Almost 3 hours.
And that is just the first act.
Yeah.
Like, they go through all of the music from the first act, and they even added some transitional music. They added a little fun kind of reprise at the end of Popular, but other than that, they kept it all intact, and they even added shit. So, like,
yeah, you would know most of what a lot of my coworkers read the book leading into this,
and see, I didn't read the book.
I didn't do that. I've never read the book. I'm glad I didn't, though, because I feel like I said, any like prior knowledge in my head about this, and thank God I forgot most of it, would have, I think, taken from the experience, because I was just sucked in to this whole story. That's just the story. The music is what really sucked me in, but the story alone, I was a really big fan of.
No, it was an incredible story. I think they did a very, very good job of expanding where it needed to expand. Because the musical is just go, 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 go. They might have like done like touches of everything. But, like, even the whole, like, Alphaba goes over for tea at Dr. Dillamon's house and all the animals are there. Like, that wasn't in the musical. And spoiler.
Oh, nice.
Spoiler,
so that's probably
like,
something from the book.
Yeah, so all of those in-between moments were really, really important. And I didn't read the book because I was so engrossed in the musical. You know, and, like, I also kind of wanted to leave it as a surprise.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's absolutely, completely... totally insane. I haven't felt this way because I'm a big I regret to say it, but I'm still a really big Harry Potter nerd. I haven't felt this way since Harry Potter 7, since that came out. And even
they sort
like,
of do
the
Harry Potter
one,
in this.
Yeah, and sort of like the part 1 where it cuts off in Harry Potter 7, you absolutely knew that that's where it was going to cut off. And with Wicked, you absolutely knew where it was going to cut off, but it still like blew your brain and it like ripped your heart out. And I messed around with it and then gave it back to you. And she zoomed so fast.
Oh, dude, the effects on that final scene.
So fast.
So I teared up twice, and that was the ending was one of those moments because it was so much. It was her finally coming into being the Wicked Witch, or like, you know, donning the name they're giving her. And I mean, her singing was just so fucking good. Until it like cuts to that to be continued. I mean, it's just like it's a good thing they ended it there. For one, you don't want to put Defying Gravity as a middle, like Braden said this too, like you don't want to put it as like a middle of the movie ending point. It's a great just end a movie song. It's too big to be in the middle of the movie. And I think it was really smart to do 2 movies because I mean Act 2 is just, it's not just, but it's essentially the Wizard of Oz. So I think that,
and it's dark.
It deserves its own movie. Yeah. The
second one is going to be so dark because the whole time,
I'm pumped.
And if you're a theater nerd, you'll understand this too. But the whole time during this movie, I was hearing Cynthia saying, I was like, oh my God, I need to know what No Good Deed sounds like. That's the song when like they take Fiyero away and like they're about to kill him because like he's been canoodling with her and she like does a spell to save him.
Yeah.
And like there's a huge spoiler there. So like I'm not going to say the huge spoiler.
That's fair. Yeah. For people who haven't. Yeah.
And let's talk about the singing for a second because
take it away.
Damn. So Cynthia Erivo has been on the West End, so like the UK version of Broadway. She's been on Broadway. She's an incredible vocalist. She just started to get into recording. Yeah, like I don't even have to tell you, you know that part.
I watched the movie.
I would even put her, and this is a bold statement, and it's absolutely nothing against Jennifer Hudson. It's like another example. I would even put her as like Broadway's Jennifer Hudson, even though Jennifer Hudson has also been on Broadway, so like that's a little bit unfair. But Cynthia Erivo just has one of those voices, and she's so well trained, and she didn't overdo it. Because if you listen to some of her other things, because if you listen to The Color Purple, if you listen to anything else that she's done, she's even sang more and dug in more. But she took the character, she took what was appropriate for the character, and she didn't overdo it with the run. She didn't like try and show off the character. She was just being Elphaba, and it was absolutely glorious.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna have to send you some for other stuff too, because she's incredible vocalist. But this was very, very tasteful.
Because I don't know any of her other singing, and honestly, I haven't heard any of the songs from Wicked in general since Living with You or Living with Brent, or when I watched it 14 years ago. So like those little moments where she's like in the middle of singing, but then she'll like cut to just little bits of just talking in the middle of her singing.
Glorious.
I loved it. And when she, like Me and the Wizard, or The Wizard and I song, holy fuck. That was a part in the movie where after that ended, a lady in my theater started clapping, and it was just her. But I was like, we should all be clapping. If we were at a musical, like I wanted to clap. And that's the beginning of the movie. Because
I went with my mom, and she leaned over. She's like, I feel like we should be clapping.
Yeah.
Just because like that's how grand every single scene was. So that's Cynthia. But then let's talk about Ariana Grande for a second.
Sure.
Because she is actually trained in musical theater.
Right. I mean, she's an actor first.
Exactly.
Before she became Ariana Grande. She's a Nickelodeon.
But then went to the pop world.
Yeah.
And now she is back, and she is back absolutely better than ever. Because I was really, really afraid that in my mind, I might have been making this up. I feel like I'm not making this up because I was really, really afraid that like her publicist or the producers or something would want her to keep her sound as a pop singer in the movie, but they didn't. And she sounded like her. She sounded like Glinda. Her technique was really, really good. It was perfect. She's
a fun character.
But I was so afraid that she was going to play Glinda as Ariana Grande, but she absolutely did not. And then there's this video. I keep going back because I don't know why this video stuck with me so much, but when you look up the videos of like when the director called her on FaceTime and said, hey, do you want to be Glinda? And like she starts crying. Yeah. She says, oh my God, don't worry. I'll take such good care of her. And it was just like,
and you feel really... she took care. You feel...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Because Glinda's a very, very complicated character.
Sure.
Because it's that whole like outside expression of like everything's amazing, but then on the inside, she's like freaking out the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like in the second opening of the second half, you'll see there's this really, really melancholy part where she sings, and it ends in happy is what happens when all your dreams come true, but all of her dreams came true. And she's not happy. And you can hear it, and you can like she's trying to exclaim it to the people, but like you can hear it that like she's like, oh yeah, this is what it's supposed to be. Definitely not happy now because like things are shit. But so I can't wait to hear her sing that either, but she took very, very good care of it. And I feel like this is just a movie for movie lovers. Like it's not just for musical theater people. Yeah, it is, when we left
the movie, I looked at Braden and Kaylee and I said, I think we just walked out of something very special. Like, not that Wicked's not already a really well-known musical. It is. It even goes out of the musical scene. But I think this movie, I said this on the podcast too, that like with Grease was a musical, but then when the movie came out, like that's when it gained its real popularity. I think the same is about to happen with Wicked with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And did Grease come out first, or did the movie come out first?
I thought the musical did. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a bad analogy.
But either way,
I'll cut it.
Either way, movie musicals are a really, really good function for I wanted to say a good function for society. That sounds a little dramatic, but if you think about it, music, especially musical theater, is not accessible to everybody. Tickets are really, really expensive. You have to go into the city most of the time, or you have to
if you want to see a good one,
exactly. So musicals are just a really, really good way to make musical theater accessible to the masses. Because like even like if you don't go to theater, like you just wait, like you wait for it to come out. So it's always had.
But you should see this in a theater. I think you should definitely see this movie in a theater.
I think you should see it in every format.
I need to see it
like
again
IMAX,
in a better
3D.
audio format. Yeah, 3D. Jesus. Yeah.
Everything. And I don't even like 3D movies anymore, but like I might go see it in 3D. Because it's just a really good bridge for people, because there's just no way that you cannot appreciate the movie making.
Oh,
of
dude.
It either.
The practical effects of all of it. Everybody was firing on all cylinders. Anybody who had a job on this movie gave it everything they had, and you can see it, you can feel it. The costumes, like I was talking to Braden about how you're so used to seeing creatures and things being CGI'd so much in movies these days, that when I saw so many characters just in costumes that could have been these like CGI beings, like the animals were CGI'd, but everything else in this movie is a practical effect. And that's just so
even Fiero's dancing like with the books and stuff.
Yes,
it's not even CGI.
Right. The train,
that's real.
the city. I'm sure there are parts of the city, the Emerald City is, and like I feel like that's an homage to the original Wizard of Oz too, because that first movie is known for like its technological at the time, practical and special effects, and now we're just doing it again with this. Oh fuck, dude! It's. I was blown away.
It is next level. It is next level because a lot of
it's a solid movie.
Yeah, and a lot of movie musicals are there to kind of like give you a piece, but this one was there to like be the thing it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
it's kind of like most of the time they treat movie musicals as like taking a book and making a movie, because they have to cut so many things, and the original musical might be like 3 hours long, but then the movie's like an hour and a half.
Sure.
So a lot of the times they gotta cut things, and they gotta like, really, really take it and not do it justice. But they just really, really did it justice here. I think it's a great, great homage to both the story of The Wicked of Oz and Wicked itself. And it was also, let's talk about some cameos that you might not have noticed as well.
I did notice the cameos.
I don't know. How many did you notice? Which ones did you notice?
I just noticed the original cast members from Wicked's Broadway, that one scene.
Yep.
But if there's more, I missed it.
Members. But then Stephen Schwartz, who wrote the music, at the end he popped up at the top and he was like, "The wizard will see you now." That's Stephen Schwartz. He wrote the whole thing.
Cool.
It was wild. And then there was a lot of different like Broadway kind of just like inserts a little bit just to make it happy. But this is really the first movie that has been a musical that I feel like they gave us everything that we wanted and more.
Good.
Crazy.
I mean, that's great. And Amber, that's exactly why I wanted to talk to you about this, because this was more near and dear to, like, this to me was just like, ooh, I got to see this. Like, I'm pumped to see this. And now I'm like all in, because I've seen the other musical movies. I saw Les Mis, I saw Into the Woods. I typically go, good. I'm a fan of the genre. I just don't listen to them in my car like you and Brent might do. But that being said, I've been listening to Wicked all week since Sunday in my car.
I'm absolutely sure you have.
And honestly, it's still good. But like the way the movie is filmed, that's what gives those, like, you can't just listen to it. You gotta, the effects when she gets on that broom and is just like singing like "Look to the west" and blah, and the gravity, and it's fucking captivating, dude. It's captivating.
You should do a remix, because that was lovely.
I do want to talk to you about the first scene that made me cry, and this is all just acting ability that I think is what did this for me. Because I'm sure we've said it, but like everybody's acting. There's not a single person that does poorly in the whole movie. It's the scene when Alphaba and Ariana Grande, Glinda become friends on the dance floor. Nobody's speaking, nobody's talking. It's just nobody's singing.
Music.
there's just like an atmosphere that is being presented as she joins her on that dancing club scene or whatever, and Elphaba starts crying. It's a really emotional scene, man, and it builds to that point, but like without words, without music, I was brought to tears. Not tears, a tear rolled down my eye.
Yeah.
But that's pretty fucking good. For me, that's a win.
And that would have never made it on stage as part of the musical.
No,
it's too intimate.
It's the cinematography mixed with it. The way the camera is shooting at Ariana Grande, the way the camera is shooting at, what was her name? Cynthia
Erivo.
Yeah, it's because you don't see those tears unless you're like the front fucking seat at the musical. You wouldn't see that. So
no, that was absolutely gorgeous.
I was already into it by that point. I was already into the movie at that point. But then I was like, let's fucking go. You made me cry and we're not even halfway through this bitch. What else you got?
And then it just kept happening. Listen, so many moments, because not only is that like the music I listen to in my car, but it's the music that my students want to learn. It's the music that like I was singing in college and stuff like that. So it's just like, because it's been around for long enough for it to kind of follow me in my career. And
20 years now.
Wild. And and now, and I don't know if I said this on a previous episode or not, but I'm going to call him out now. He might even listen to this. I don't care. But Michael Campano is a brilliant person I work with. He's so nice. He's so kind. He is the founding artist and the artistic director of The Collective, which is a teen theater company that I help run. And he was Fiyero on Broadway in 2016.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just like this keeps following me throughout everything. And now it's so interesting to talk to him because I'm going to go see it again with him, which is amazing because I cannot wait to see his take on it, because
has he not seen it yet?
I don't think he's seen it yet because I haven't told him I've seen it either. So like maybe that's a secret, but I promised my mother I would go with her before he said it. But here's the thing is that he was even invited to the New York premiere of Wicked and he couldn't go.
That sucks.
He couldn't go. His wife is pregnant. There's like a lot of different things going on. So because of that, he rented out a whole theater next Sunday, and we're going to take all of our kids at the theater academy, and we're going to make it a little bit of a field trip. So and like, that's the other thing. I knew that I actually went to go see it a little bit earlier with my mother, so I would have some space in between when I saw it a second time. But I'm so excited to see it. And this is not
I'm taking Miranda to see it.
Dream. Yeah. But like, I'm so excited to see it with a room full of theater kids right now. And, like a whole Fiyero.
Right.
Because like, I'm not talking about he was the understudy. He was like the actual.
He was Fiyero. Well, I'm just glad to hear that there is casting for Wicked that cares about their pregnant spouse and chooses them over Wicked. That's always good to hear.
Oh yeah.
How
but we're gonna make a whole thing about
it.
I can't even imagine. I can't wait to hear it. But don't worry, I bought a red carpet, and I'm gonna have the kids like give a little red carpet moment.
Beautiful, as you should.
Just like
that's super
wild.
cool, Amber. That's super cool. I forget that
I'm so excited.
Famous people a little.
just a little. He's one of the only famous people, but you know what? He does know Cher, so
right. And you work for.
Common.
Yeah, you know some people, man.
I do. I worked at his school as a music theater and music teacher for 4 years, the school that he founded in Chicago. So I guess so. I keep he's on my wall, actually. Yeah. I don't know if you can see him.
I can sort of see the wall, but okay.
Yeah, so he's up a little bit higher. Literally wicked times, wicked thoughts, wicked feelings. And it's just, I cannot wait for the next one. And when the credits rolled, I was like, wow, I wonder where I'm going to be in a year when I'm watching part 2.
Truly.
It was very like, what else can happen? Because it's all unlimited.
Maybe we'll finally get our musical somewhere by the time
Listen,
that
I'm ready.
comes.
The tab is still there. It's a favorite
I know.
on my computer. So like,
I
you
gotta
just
get
let
to
me know
work.
when you're ready.
You
heard it here. Heard it here first, folks. Yeah.
We got a musical coming.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, dude. Yeah, it was very special little movie. Did you have any more that you wanted to ramble off about? I'm sure you do.
I don't know. That was really like,
I've been thinking about it for
was
days.
really the beef of it. And I'm very, very happy with all of the casting choices that they made. I'm really happy. I've been watching the little like behind the scenes snippets that come out on like Instagram and stuff like that, because I'm just, I just love to see how it's made, because it's never been made from a movie perspective before. I've seen so many different versions on stage, and I love those as well.
Yeah.
But it was really, really great to see how they saw it through a director lens and through a camera lens.
Right. I was thinking that as I was watching it. There's a lot of scenes that like you can't do it the way they did it on a stage. Like, it's just impossible. Like the argument song, the song where like right when they become roommates and they're like arguing, and it's going through like, their school day, what they're doing, like it's different pieces of time, and you can like kind of do that on stage, but it doesn't have that same impact of just being in different places like a movie can be.
Yeah, when you think about the art forms and you think about the professionals that are involved with both, there's like, you could just keep going and going and going, but when you think about it, theater is basically like a little shadow box, and it's like people watching.
Yeah.
Like, if you're sitting at a park and you're looking around at people, you can only see what the people are doing there from your perspective, which is fantastic. But really with a camera and on film, you can see all the in-betweens, and you can see what is important to the timeline there. But if you think about it, there's always this huge argument on what's better, film or theater. I like theater better, but that's my whole profession, But the thing is that theater, it's so hard to do it live 8 times a week, singing, acting, dancing. So really, when you're seeing it, you're watching not only a story, not only music, but you're seeing like an athletic feat, and you're seeing people like do crazy things in person. So that's really fantastic to me. I think that storytelling is so important. But then when you go to film, you see the intimate moments, and you see the little moments, and you see it from a completely different perspective as well. And even sometimes people might argue, you might see the perfect version of it because you get to redo it as many times as you want.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think, and this is really, really hard for me to say. I don't think that one's better than the other. I think that they're just two completely different ways of storytelling, and each have their pros and cons. Now, of course, I rather see stuff live because like there's a energy in the room. But then I'm going to play devil's advocate with myself. I think they did a really good job at replicating that energy in the movie. It's like, just like you said, how it felt like you needed to clap.
Yeah.
People only want to clap in a movie theater if they're feeling it.
Right. And my theater, I mean, that's if you see this movie at your house, you no longer have that theater atmosphere. But I think this movie's the closest to like a live theater atmosphere that you can get at a theater, is how it felt, at least for me.
And I cannot wait to see it again. But yeah, that's definitely because of that emotional connection to it, and that revving up to it. So yeah, just so many good things. They did a really, really good job with it, and I'm super, super happy with it. And
me too.
I cannot wait. And it's one of them that I'm gonna like be rewatching like once a month, for a while.
I dare say that the second half might, because that's going to be the end game. If this was Infinity War, that's the end game. God, it could take over my care to even just watch the original Wizard of Oz. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Oh yeah.
That's how I already feel about this first one, but like, I'm so excited to see the next half and how they do it for this.
Yeah, and you think about it, the next half, you have songs. It opens up on Thank Goodness, which is a massive, it's kind of like the beginning, but it gets you right back into the emotion. And then you talk about the wizard for a while, and then Fiyero and Alphabet get a little bit more serious, and then shit goes down. And then they try to kill the witch, and then you have For Good, which is every single theater kid song that if they want to cry to, they'll turn on For Good. Like, there's just so many amazing things are happening in part 2, and it's going to be so dark. Like this one, I felt like it was bright and bubbly and it invited those dark moments. Like it's kind of like how Glinda masks her insides. Like on the outside, it's absolutely beautiful, but on the inside, like there's like a lot of stuff going on. That's what the first movie was. The second movie, I think we're going to get into the nitty gritty of it. I think you're going to see all the shit happen. And
that's what I love about these kind of musicals.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic because and that's the other thing too. And I think that's another reason why it's so successful is that as a theater nerd, we know the book and we know the story, but we don't know what they're about to add to it.
Sure.
Because most of the time we're waiting to see, even as a book fan and then you get to see a movie form, you're normally like, oh, I wonder what they're going to cut. I wonder, I'm so upset. I hope they don't cut this part. But that's not the vibe with this one because you know they're going to add stuff. They're not going to cut it.
Yeah, instead of being nervous, you're excited. That's a feat. That's a feat that most things don't get.
I don't know the last thing I could think of that because even Harry Potter, even when they turn Harry Potter into 2 different movies, they still cut stuff.
Dude, the 7th Harry Potter movies, I don't like either of them. The book's my favorite book. No. I don't like either of those movies. So, it's...
Exactly.
Ooh. Yeah.
I can't remember the last time that this has happened where the anticipation is so good and worth it because they're adding things and they're not taking away.
I'm excited to see more Jeff Goldblum because Miranda asked me about him and I was like, he's good in it, but he's not really in it a whole lot. He only sings a little bit even. So it's I don't even know if he does sing. I can't even remember. He has one little bit of singing. So I'm excited to see more of that.
Sentimental Man. And then for the next one, you have Wonderful. So that's going to be in there too. I'm pretty sure that's the Wiz character. Yeah, great movie.
Great movie.
Things happening.
Might be my movie of the year, honestly. Dune 2 was pretty good, but oh yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I really had a great time at this movie.
And I love that for you.
Yeah, and I mean, I see a lot of movies that I like, but I like when I go see a movie that I'm just yeah, this should be good. You know what I mean? I have no real high or low expectation. I will say the trailers were getting me pretty pumped anytime I saw them. But I did just completely blew me away. Plus, I'm a sucker for when you nail an origin story of a villain.
Right.
Because I feel like there's a lot of those now. Wicked kind of started that, but now there's tons of them and a lot of them suck. This one doesn't. And I also I love that we live in this time period where art, maybe everybody's always lived in this period, but art imitates art that imitates art. And I love seeing art that I imitated so well into something cool and unique. Yeah. Wizard of Oz is cool. I like the lore of Oz, but they took that and just made it its own thing again. And I just love that kind of shit.
And that's the other thing too, is that part 2, you're going to see, or at least we're going to, I don't know if
the Wizard of Oz.
Well, yeah, but I don't know because I don't know how much they're going to lean into that because it's always been a story not about that, but absolutely all about that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to lean into it. I don't know if they're not going to lean into it. They're going to
sucks. We got to wait a year to find out.
A whole year, but I get it. But honestly, I think that you texted me this. We couldn't deal with it back to back. Can you imagine seeing this in 2 months? I can't.
No. I wish they would have did a 6-month thing, maybe summer release. But yeah, I don't think when the movie was over, I needed to get up. I had to pee really bad. I was holding pee for 20 minutes, but that last 20 minutes, I was I'll piss my pants before I leave.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
There was literally no other option. I was at dinner before. I was like, wow, I need to only have half of this drink because I'm not missing a single second. I don't care if I see it twice. I'm never missing a single second of it. So, yeah, beautiful. All about it. Crazy. Well, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for joining in.
I got some of this energy out, which is good.
Yeah.
I feel better.
All right, Braden, let's wrap this thing up, shall we? I think we've lingered on about Wicked. We'll probably talk about it more personally here, but for the shitters, this is all you're getting.
Yeah, so
time around.
Read it and weep.
Read it and weep. We had a good time. We'll hit up Gladiator some other time.
Yeah, we highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it. I think we just sat here and talked about it for 40 minutes. So.
Yeah.
And I feel like we also barely scratched the surface. So if you thought that sounded good, if that didn't motivate you to go see it, I don't know what will. So just go see the damn movie.
Pretty sure you'll have a good time.
No, you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
I cried twice.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
I did not cry, but I was like, that was
If
good.
Braden still had emotions in his soul, he would have cried.
Yeah.
Right on. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, shitters. We're checking out.
Yep, good
You-
to be back, shitters. Good to see you again. Good to see all your lovely faces, especially you in Pakistan.
Yes. Big fans of you guys. And everybody else. And this episode comes out on Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving
Happy
to everybody.
Thanksgiving. Avoid
And
politics.
Avoid politics. Just eat, drink. I like to get a little high before I go to family functions. It
Yeah,
helps.
that might be more beneficial.
It helps.
Bring some weed
Bring
to your
some
family
weed to your family
Pass
functions.
them around. They might want some.
Maybe that'll make everybody just chill.
We
with
might all
everybody.
just have. This might be one of the best Thanksgivings ever. We don't know.
Probably won't be for a lot of people.
No,
though.
probably not. But it's worth a shot.
That's family. Family is forever.
That's right.
Even if they didn't vote for who you wanted them to.
Right.
Da 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 da. That's the more you know type of shit. All right, guys. Good night.
Good night. Sleep
tight,
tight, and don't let the shit bugs bite. And I love you.
He does love you. Good night.
Bye.